Chapter 318. Yi Tianyan didn't say anything. After all the cultivators were rescued, they rushed out of the prison. Fortunately, these guards were not very flexible in reporting the situation. Obviously, they were in a safe state, so they didn't have any jade pendants with them. Therefore, they couldn't call for help in time. When the guards inside the Netherworld prison noticed them, they rushed out crazily. However, no matter how strong they were still at the core transformation stage. What's going on? Are they all released? In the hall outside the Netherworld prison, many guards were stunned when they saw a large group of cultivators rushing out of the Netherworld prison. They never thought that a group of cultivators would rush out of the Netherworld prison like this. Catch them all. We can't let them escape. Whoever resists will die. Whoever dares to resist will die. Inform the general. There is an emergency in the Netherworld prison. There were core transformation stage cultivators in the prison, and some of them were even the ministers in charge of the prison. They immediately took out their jade pendants and crushed them to send out a distress signal. Obviously, General Long wasn't here. If he had nothing to do, he wouldn't be here. Moreover, the Netherworld Empire had a lot of other things to deal with in addition to the spirit race, so there were a lot of things that they couldn't deal with. 3 core transformation stage powerhouses quickly rushed out and took out their most powerful weapons and attacked Yi Tianyan fiercely. All of a sudden, they burst out with their strongest power. The murderous aura filled the entire hall. Many cultivators' faces changed dramatically. They felt very helpless in the face of core transformation stage cultivators. If they resisted, it would be a one-sided slaughter. While everyone's hearts were trembling, the 3 arrows had already pierced through their bodies in the blink of an eye, sending them flying backward. 2 of them were nailed to the wall, the cold air constantly eroding their bodies, freezing them up and rendering them unable to move at all. The other one was wearing a hard armor, so the arrow didn't penetrate his body. However, the impact of the arrow still sent him flying. He vomited blood and the cold air invaded his body, greatly reducing his movement speed. But before he could get up, an ice arrow pierced through his body and nailed him to the wall. His eyes widened as he stared at Yi Tianyan. He didn't expect Yi Tianyan's attack to be so casual. After all, he was wearing a high-grade soul armor, and was even reinforced with powerful divine imprints. Yet he was still pierced through. The way he looked at Yi Tianyan gradually became blurry, and then he completely lost consciousness. Yi Tianyan looked at them coldly. If 1 arrow wasn't enough, then 2 arrows would be fired. After the Frost Divine Bow was imbued with the damage rune, it became 4 times the damage. He didn't even need to activate the crazy damage mode to be able to instantly kill everything. Just a casual arrow shot by him would have a battle prowess as high as 10 million. It was unstoppable. This scene shocked a lot of people. Before Yi Tianyan killed a core condensation stage cultivator, the strongest spirit core stage cultivator, it was still acceptable for him to be instantly killed. Such a powerful core transformation stage cultivator was also killed by a single arrow. It was not difficult at all. This caused them to be dumbfounded. This was really killing gods and Buddhas if they encountered gods and Buddhas. What a terrifying power. With him here, how can we not escape? Yes, with this great hero here, we can definitely escape. All of them were excited, and the hope in their hearts was burning. They felt that they could get out of this damned place and successfully escape. They thought so, and so did Yi Tianyan. With his current overbearing power, as long as it wasn't a void spirit stage cultivator, he could easily kill them. Then Yi Tianyan continued to madly kill the guards. He shot a few arrows at them, and all of them were pierced by the arrows. The most shocking thing was that he quickly swept over and put away the storage rings they were wearing. This made Yi Qingxian, who was at the back, roll her eyes. This guy doesn't forget to make money. Core transformation stage cultivator's net worth is not bad. How can he miss this opportunity? The old ancestor of the spirit race couldn't help but smile. He admired Yi Tianyan's action very much. If I were him, I would also do the same. Cultivation needs a lot of resources. How can he waste them? Well, Yi Qingxian certainly didn't have any objection to Yi Tianyan's action. The problem was that in such an urgent situation, Yi Tianyan still didn't forget to make money. Tianyan doesn't want to do this. If he wasn't so poor, and running a sect requires too many resources, he certainly wouldn't let go of any opportunity to get resources. Each and every core transformation stage cultivator was fat, so naturally, he wouldn't miss this opportunity. Along the way, Tianyan and Yi Qingxian quickly killed their way to the exit. There weren't many guards at the exit. When they saw Tianyan and Yi Qingxian rushing towards them, their faces changed, and they quickly prepared to block their attacks. However, they were too weak, so they were easily killed by Tianyan and Yi Qingxuan's arrows. The gate is in front of us. We can go out as soon as we open the gate. Tianyan shouted and took the lead to rush towards the gate. He opened the gate and pushed it open with all his might. Jie jie jie. The gate made a loud noise and began to open bit by bit. It had to be said that this thing was really heavy, and it took a lot of effort to push it open. Let's hurry and help the big hero open the gate. With a roar, they quickly rushed over and pushed the door open. With the help of many people, the speed of opening the gate suddenly increased a lot. When a big gap appeared, all the cultivators rushed out as if they saw the light of hope. We finally came out. We finally came out. After rushing out, they shouted loudly, greedily breathing the outside air. Feeling that everything was so beautiful. It should be said that living was so beautiful. When a group of people swarmed out, at the same time, there was a roar coming from inside. Roar, roar, roar. It was like a dragon's roar, coming from the innermost part of the prison. Soon the ground shook, as if a huge monster rushed out from inside. Go, go. Yi Qingxian commanded her people to escape from the back. There were too many people here. All the prisoners added up to thousands of people, so it was difficult to evacuate too quickly. At this time, a few huge beasts suddenly rushed out from the passage behind them. They looked like dragons, but they didn't have wings. Their bodies were covered in thick dragon scales, which looked very hard. They strode forward with their huge bodies and crazily pounced over. They were like a small mountain, stomping over fiercely. Earth dragon, it's an earth dragon. Chapter 319. The earth dragon was a demonic beast with the bloodline of the dragon clan, but it couldn't fly. It was mainly known for its strong defense, coupled with its huge physique. It was absolutely amazing when it fought. In addition, its cultivation was not weak. All of them were spirit core stage demonic beasts. Although it couldn't defeat a core transformation stage cultivator, it could at least resist. The 3 earth dragons were released, and they roared and rushed over. It was obvious that they had entered the killing mode regardless of the consequences. It was better to kill them all than to let them run away. Hurry up. Yi Qingxuan's face changed, and she signaled the clansmen in front of her to leave quickly. Seeing that almost all of her clansmen had left, there was still a small number of them who were a little slower. But the earth dragons had already rushed over, so they couldn't leave so fast. At this moment, she quickly took out several explosive flame talismans, and threw them at the first earth dragon. They floated in the air for a while and stuck to its body. Boom! A burst of flame exploded on the earth dragon's body, and it was immediately blackened, but it didn't die. Only a small part of the dragon's scales was blown away, and a little blood flowed down. It was a minor injury. A terrifying defensive power immediately appeared. It could be seen just how heaven-defying its defensive power was. It was completely a moving shield. The power of these explosive flame divine talismans was not weak. Several of them were superimposed together, and the violent attack of at least a core transformation stage cultivator could only hurt the earth dragon's skin. Haha, you want to hurt the earth dragon with these explosive flame divine talismans. You are too naive. Crush them for me. There were 3 spirit core stage cultivators behind him, and they commanded the earth dragons to rush over and suppress the fugitives. It's the dragon soldier. Many people exclaimed when they saw the cultivators wearing dragon armor. This dragon soldier was the direct troops of General Long, and there was a team of troops that controlled the earth dragons. When they attacked any forces, they couldn't stop them at all. Every dragon soldier was equipped with an earth dragon, and it was absolutely an invincible army. Although the earth dragon was not a real divine beast, its terrifying defense was comparable to the real dragon clan. The most important thing was that there were enough of them, and their reproductive ability was much stronger than that of real dragons. Therefore, their numbers were not particularly rare, but the price was still extremely high. Only the Netherworld Empire could form a group of dragon army. Under the control of the dragon army, they could crush everything. There weren't many dragon soldiers that rushed up, only 3, but this was already very shocking. They didn't need to be very powerful, just purely crushing people to death was enough. He didn't expect that there would be a dragon soldier in the Netherworld prison. Roar! The injured earth dragon stimulated the wildness in its body. With a roar, it used its huge body to press down on Yi Qingxian. Its speed and strength were both extremely fierce. Yi Qingxian had a few more explosive flame talismans in her hands, ready to attack. She couldn't retreat, and there were still a small number of her clansmen behind her who hadn't escaped. She could only bite the bullet and fight. Saintess, don't worry about this place. Let's go. The old ancestor of the spirit race motioned for her to escape. He wanted to help, but he didn't have the strength to do so. It was already good enough that she could walk, let alone fight. Let them go first. Yi Qingxian bit her lips and threw out a few more explosive flame talismans, which instantly exploded on the body of the earth dragon. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of the explosion came again, but the speed of the earth dragon didn't slow down at all. The earth dragon was only shaken a little bit, but its huge body was still pressing down on her, trying to flatten her. Yi Qingxuan's face changed, and she quickly retreated to the side. But the speed of the earth dragon was much faster than her speed of escape. When she was about to take out a talisman and was ready to use it, a figure suddenly rushed over and fiercely collided with the earth dragon. Bang! The whole earth dragon was smashed away, and its chest was dented. The severe pain made the earth dragon roar in pain. Immediately, a red figure landed on the ground. It was Yi Tianyan. His whole body was covered with dragon scales, and the dragon god's bloodline burst out. He collided with the earth dragon head-on, and the very hard earth dragon was smashed away by him. This hardness is still not enough. Yi Tianyan snorted coldly, and quickly came to Yi Qingxuan's side, and said, "Quickly take them out, there are no guards outside." He took the lead to rush outside, and when he saw that it was safe outside, he came in to help. As soon as he came in, he saw the earth dragon pressing in this side, and instantly flew over. With the explosive speed of the phoenix wings, he immediately collided with the earth dragon. Yi Qingxian nodded, and quickly evacuated with the spirit clan, leaving the rear to Yi Tianyan. Where did this kid come from? So strong? When the dragon soldiers saw that Yi Tianyan was able to knock the earth dragon away, they were shocked. Few people would dare to fight with the earth dragon head-on, and now they saw one. Who cares, crush him for me. The other dragon soldiers didn't think too much. Seeing more and more cultivators escaping outside, they were also anxious. If General Long came back, they would be severely punished. Roar! After the earth dragon that had been smashed away slowed down, it rushed towards him again and roared angrily. With the bloodline of the dragon clan, it also attached great importance to its own dignity. After fighting with a human, it lost. How could it not be angry? Immediately, a pale yellow light flashed all over its body, and the dragon scales on its body thickened layer by layer. The power of the earth element surrounded the surface of its body, and it looked harder, and the sharp claws became sharper. All of a sudden, its combat power increased rapidly, and it became incomparably powerful, just like a cultivator burning his blood essence, greatly enhancing his own strength. Roar! The earth dragon rushed over without hesitation, and the other 2 earth dragons on the side also surrounded him, trying to trap him to death. At this time, many people outside noticed this side, and their hearts thumped, and they began to worry. Interesting, these demonic beasts are not bad. Yi Tianyan originally wanted to summon the black dragon to fight with them, but seeing these earth dragons, he had some other ideas in his mind. Immediately, he suddenly stomped on the ground and rushed towards the earth dragon. In the blink of an eye, he flew to the head of the earth dragon, and then kicked it hard. Boom! The huge body of the earth dragon was immediately kicked to the ground, and with a loud bang, a few cracks appeared on the ground, and layers of air waves swept to the side. Even the hard dragon scales, under this fierce kick, were broken, and the whole Earth Dragon was beaten to the ground. This overbearing power, even after the eruption of the Earth Dragon, could not resist. Chapter 320. After Yi Tianyan said that, he immediately activated the pet capture skill and began to capture the Earth Dragon. This Earth Dragon was a very good demon beast to open the way, and also as a demon beast to guard the door. Since it came to him, he would not waste it. This was a relatively rare demon beast, so he would certainly not miss it. It was a good opportunity to test the pet capture skill. After casting it, the Earth Dragon that was being stepped on was enveloped by the light. The Earth Dragon struggled a little, but it couldn't break free. It was as if it was being suppressed by a force. Roar! The Earth Dragon struggled, but it was not as strong as Yi Tianyan. It could only be suppressed and could not move. What's the situation? Something is wrong. Quickly let the other Earth Dragons attack him. Don't worry about my Earth Dragon. Suppress him first. One of the dragon soldiers felt that something was wrong and quickly signaled his companion to attack. Okay, attack him. The dragon soldier immediately ordered his Earth Dragon to attack Yi Tianyan. The two Earth Dragons that were originally guarding the side immediately obeyed their master's command and stepped on Yi Tianyan. They did not care about their companion lying on the ground. They only listened to their master's command. Even if they were facing their own kind, they would still kill them. Successfully captured the demon beast Earth Dragon. Cultivation. Level 8 Spirit Core Stage Potential. Grade 3. Ding. Congratulations to the player, Yi Tianyan, for successfully capturing the Earth Dragon. The reward is 100,000 EXP. Pet capture proficiency plus 100 points. Sure enough, as long as he used this skill, he could get EXP, not to mention the proficiency. After successfully capturing him, the Earth Dragon no longer had any hostility towards him. It was completely friendly towards him. Very good, get up and resist them. Yi Tianyan signaled the Earth Dragon under his feet to move. Following that, the Earth Dragon quickly climbed up, roared angrily at the two Earth Dragons that pounced on it, and swatted at them. Bang bang! Under Yi Tianyan's control, the power of the Earth Dragon doubled, and the two Earth Dragons that pounced on him were sent flying. This scene shocked them all. It was obviously the dragon soldier's Earth Dragon. How could it attack its own people? What's going on? Why is my Earth Dragon attacking? Stop. Stop. Hurry up and send that brat flying. The dragon soldier kept shouting at the side, but it was useless. The Earth Dragon did not listen to the dragon soldier at all, and continued to fight with its own kind. Yi Tianyan took advantage of this opportunity to fly forward and press down heavily from the air. Bang! Another Earth Dragon was pressed to the ground. Then he used his capture skill and continued to capture this Earth Dragon. Another Earth Dragon rushed over, wanting to send Yi Tianyan flying. However, the Earth Dragon controlled by Yi Tianyan quickly counterattacked, sending the Earth Dragon flying. Following that, the two Earth Dragons started fighting each other, causing the entire hall to shake. Ding! Successfully caught the demonic beast, Earth Dragon. Cultivation. Level 9 Spirit Core Stage Potential. Grade 3. Ding! Congratulations to player, Yi Tianyan, for successfully capturing an Earth Dragon. The reward is 130,000 experience points. Pet capturing mastery plus 100 points. After successfully capturing another Earth Dragon belonged to him. Then this Earth Dragon roared, and under the control of Yi Tianyan, it quickly rushed forward to help the other Earth Dragon. Bang! Under the suppression of two Earth Dragons, the remaining Earth Dragon was pressed to the ground and could not move. Yi Tianyan quickly flew over and immediately used his capture skill. Soon, the Earth Dragon was also captured, and Yi Tianyan gained experience points and proficiency. What's going on? My Earth Dragon is also out of control. How did he do it? Is he a beast tamer? Impossible. How could he be a beast tamer? The three dragon soldiers were stunned. Their Earth Dragon was subdued, so how could they still be called dragon soldiers? They could only be ordinary Spirit Core Stage cultivators. Immediately, they looked at each other and saw the anger in each other's eyes. They took out their spears and rushed towards Yi Tianyan. Give me back my Earth Dragon! They roared and rushed towards Yi Tianyan. They thought that their earth dragon would be able to suppress Yi Tianyan. But they didn't expect that their earth dragon would be subdued by Yi Tianyan. Give it back. Yi Tianyan smiled and said. Then I will give it back to you. He stretched out his hand and pointed forward. The 3 earth dragons roared and pounced towards the 3 dragon soldiers. The 3 huge bodies covered the entire palace. No. Don't come over. The dragon soldiers were pale. Their cultivation level was almost the same as the earth dragon. Under the fierce attack, the spear couldn't penetrate even a little bit. Soon after, they were heavily pressed down, flattening the 3 dragon soldiers. Ding successfully killed dragon soldier, gained 280,000 EXP, 3700 crazy point, 150 SPS. Obtained martial arts dominating cloud pierce, soaring cloud strike. Item obtained, Earth Dragon Spear mid-grade soul tool. Earth Dragon Armor, low-grade soul tool. Ding successfully killed dragon soldier, gained 270,000 EXP, 3600 crazy point, 150 SPS. The 3 dragon soldiers were easily trampled to death. If a cultivator of the same level faced a demon beast of the same level, as long as they are not heaven-defying, they will basically be crushed to death. This scene fell into the eyes of many cultivators behind them. They were deeply shocked. Even Yi Qingxian was shocked. In just a short time, the 3 earth dragons were subdued, and they were crushed to death by Yi Tianyan's earth dragon. Very good comeback. Yi Tianyan rushed out with the 3 earth dragons and smashed the door that was not opened, stopping them outside. At this time, many cultivators outside have already fled in all directions. They didn't stay here. General Long will come back at any time, so it is the best choice to leave as soon as possible. All of you get on this earth dragon and run away. Yi Tianyan signaled the people of Spirit Race to ride on the earth dragon. They did not hesitate and climbed on the earth dragon one after another. This earth dragon is very large. It can accommodate dozens of people at a time. It is indeed not enough, but most of the people with serious injuries can sit on it, so they can escape first. If the problem is not big, they can just follow behind. Qingxian, you go first. I made them listen to your command. Yi Tianyan signaled Yi Qingxian to quickly take the people away. What about you? Yi Qingxian looked at him and said, I will completely flatten this place. Yi Tianyan said coldly. Chapter 321. You want to destroy this place? Yi Qingxian said hurriedly. It's very difficult to destroy the divine inscriptions in the Netherworld prison. If we don't destroy the divine inscriptions, we won't be able to destroy the Netherworld prison. Moreover, if General Long comes, what will you do? Yi Qingshuan's eyes were filled with worry. She felt that Yi Tianyan was courting death. She knew that Yi Tianyan's cultivation was not weak, but he was courting death by going in alone. If he was surrounded, it would be impossible for him to escape. Do you think I can't escape? Yi Tianyan smiled indifferently and said, as long as the Netherworld prison is here, it will continue to imprison cultivators. I know that destroying the Netherworld Empire is the only way to solve the problem. But first, we can destroy the Netherworld prison. That way, we can destroy the Netherworld Empire. As for the divine inscriptions, don't worry. I can destroy them. I believe you know this. He was a divine inscription master, so he had a good understanding of the divine inscriptions in the Netherworld prison. But Yi Qingxian was still worried about his safety. She was afraid that he would not come back. If this little friend wants to go, then let him go. The spirit race's old ancestor stretched out his finger and pointed at Yi Tianyan's head. This is the divine inscription memory that I gave you. It can easily destroy the divine inscriptions. I hope it will be of help to you. Thank you, old ancestor. After Yi Tianyan examined the memory, he found that it was different from the one Yi Qingxian gave him. It was completely focused on breaking the Tao of divine runes, which were similar to array formations. After saying that, Yi Tianyan nodded to Yi Qingxian and turned around to leave. I will wait for you to come back. Yi Qingxian shouted. Yi Tianyan's body shook. This familiar scene reminded him of Shi Shuiyun. She also said the same thing to him. Then he turned around and smiled. I will definitely come back. After saying that, he flew forward. Yi Qingxian did not hesitate. She immediately controlled the earth dragons and left the netherworld prison. If he stayed here, he would be discovered sooner or later. As these earth dragons ran at top speed, they quickly disappeared into the horizon. Although these earth dragons could not fly, their running speed on the ground was not slow at all. Yi Tianyan immediately returned to the netherworld prison. He held the Ice Frost Divine Bow tightly in his hand and attacked again. When the guards saw Yi Tianyan charging back, they were scared out of their wits. What's going on? This killing god is back. When the guard who had run back saw Yi Tianyan, he hurriedly tried to close the door. However, the door was too thick, and it wasn't easy to close. The door didn't even close for long before Yi Tianyan condensed a thick ice arrow in his hand. His eyes flashed with a blue light. Ice Fury. He aimed at the hall and shot it out. A blue beam of light pierced out and finally exploded in the main hall. Boom. It was as if a berserk blizzard had exploded inside, freezing all the guards inside and turning them into ice sculptures in an instant. Even if he quickly melted the ice, it would be meaningless. He had already frozen to death. From head to toe, even his bone marrow had been frozen by the extreme cold ice. He couldn't be any more dead than he already was. Ding! Successfully killed a guard. Reward, 170. 000 EXP, 2300 Crazy Point, 100 SPS. Obtain Martial Art Heavenly Cloud Palm, Heavenly Cloud Step. Obtain Black Iron Sword, Recovery Pill. Ding! Successfully killed a guard. Reward. Ding! Under the arrow, all the guards were killed, and a lot of EXP and SPS were dropped. Their sin value was absolutely high, even higher than the elders he had killed before. One could imagine how many ruthless things these guards had done. Even if they were instructed by the Netherworld Empire to do so, at least the sin was imposed on them. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tianyan successfully entered the Netherworld prison. A large part of the prison was frozen, but he didn't look back and continued to rush inside. He glanced at the divine rune on the wall, and a dazzling light flashed in his hand. He jumped up and fiercely poked the divine rune a few times. Every poke was very powerful. After poking 100 times, the divine rune on the wall immediately dissipated. This is the way to break the divine rune given by the spirit race old ancestor. He was the one who carved the divine rune here, so how could he not know the problem? So it wasn't difficult to break the divine rune here. The most important thing is that his level is amazing. Otherwise, even if he knew the way to break the divine rune here, he wouldn't be able to easily break it. After breaking the divine rune here, he quickly rushed to the other side and poked 100 times in a row, and the divine rune immediately disappeared. For someone at his level, poking 100 times in a row doesn't take long. It only takes a few seconds to break the divine rune. As such, his speed was extremely fast. If the spirit race were here, they would definitely be shocked. His movements were so clean and efficient that it was rare to see him. Go. After Yi Tianyan landed on the ground, he quickly took out the ice divine bow and aimed at the broken divine rune on the wall. Yi Tianyan pulled the longbow and shot 3 arrows at the wall in a frenzy. The wall immediately collapsed. Without the support of the divine rune, although the wall is strong, it still collapsed under such a powerful attack. Boom! He destroyed half of the entrance outside the gate, which made him feel very satisfied. Very good, as long as there are no more divine runes, this place is as weak as tofu. Yi Tianyan didn't continue to destroy the wall, but quickly rushed inside. Along the way, he destroyed the divine rune on the wall, breaking it easily. No matter what, he is a divine rune master. After knowing the way to break the divine rune, it was naturally easy for him to destroy it. As he rushed in, a steady stream of guards came over. They seemed to come from the underground of the Nether prison. Obviously, there is an underground area in the Nether prison. Yi Qingxian and the others didn't know about this. It is very likely that they only dug down later, otherwise they would have known about it. What's the situation outside? What exactly happened? Guards quickly rushed up, but what greeted them was the ice arrows, freezing them into ice sculptures. Yi Tianyan killed his way in, and soon arrived at the stairs that led underground. It was quite spacious. There is an underground passage here. I didn't know about it before. I wonder what is down there. Tianyan rushed down without hesitation and soon reached the underground. What came into view was an extremely spacious place, a huge mine. Chapter 322. In the huge mine in front of him, there were a lot of cultivators mining day and night. Everyone had shackles on their feet, and even in this state, they still had to work hard to mine. Their cultivation was not low. All of them were at the core condensation stage. The lowest was at the spirit refinement stage, so it was obviously much more efficient for them to mine. There were at least thousands of cultivators imprisoned here. He didn't expect that there would be such a large number of cultivators hidden here. They had rescued many people before. Some of them had been imprisoned in the alchemy room or the forging room, and they had rescued them all. However, this place was the only place that they had not rescued. God knows that there would be a mine here, but he didn't expect that there would be such a huge mine under the netherworld prison. Tianyan looked around and saw that the resources here were quite rich. After upgrading the appraisal eye, it will be easier for him to analyze the materials. Even if he didn't know what the materials were, he can easily find them. Jade Spirit Stone. Most of the Jade Spirit Stones weigh more than 50 kilograms. Preliminary estimation of the remaining resources is more than 1,000,000 kilograms. Black Iron Ore. Essential material to forge soul tools. Preliminary estimation of the remaining resources is more than 10 million kilograms. Purple Crystal Ore. Essential material to forge heaven-level weapons. Preliminary estimation of the remaining resources is more than 100 kilograms. Cloud Gold Soil. Essential material to refine level 5 elixirs. Can increase the success rate of refining elixirs. Preliminary estimation of the remaining resources is more than 10,000 kilograms. At a glance, all the names of the materials, and even the approximate amount of the remaining resources can be easily determined. Although it is not very accurate, the approximate amount is estimated. Among them, Purple Crystal Ore and Cloud Gold Soil are the most precious, and the remaining resources are even less. He didn't expect that there would be so many resources in this mine. No wonder they captured so many cultivators. In addition to mining, they can also use the materials here to refine weapons or elixirs. There are a lot of Jade Spirit Stones. If he can dig them all out, then he will be rich. But these things are not so easy to dig. They are very hard. It is too difficult to dig them out. Therefore, the miners couldn't be ordinary people. They must have good cultivation. The Netherworld Empire captured them and forced them to work in the mines without paying any compensation. Hurry up, don't be lazy. It seems that something happened up there. Should we go and take a look? What can happen? Just let the others go up. Who dares to break into our Netherworld prison? They all shook their heads and couldn't be bothered with him. Instead, they lashed out with their whips again and again, heavily lashing the cultivators in front of them. Regardless of whether they were slacking off or not, they would lash out at those who were not pleasing to their eyes. If he was beaten to death, he would be dragged away without any sympathy. These cultivators came in batches and batches, and there was no need to worry about the lack of people. Give me the antidote, give me the antidote. At this moment, a cultivator suddenly got poisoned. He lay on the ground and twisted his body. He stretched out his hand in agony, gesturing for them to give him the antidote. However, the guards couldn't be bothered to go over. They continued to stand there and watch. They couldn't even be bothered to take another look. The poison over there has flared up. Aren't you going to feed him pills? I'm too lazy to go over. If he wants to take the pill, then let him crawl over himself. If he doesn't want to eat it, then so be it. The guard shrugged his shoulders, feeling that it didn't matter. After all, he wasn't the one who was poisoned. Is that so? Then why don't you try eating a few pills? A ghostly voice sounded beside them, causing them to turn their heads in anger. Just as they were about to lash out with their whips, 2 ice arrows pierced through their bodies. They didn't even see Tianyan's face clearly before they completely lost consciousness. Tianyan picked up the antidote from their corpses and immediately threw it to the cultivators so that they could consume it. That cultivator climbed up with difficulty. His body trembled as he picked up the antidote and put it into his mouth. After consuming it, his condition immediately improved greatly. It wasn't as painful as before. Tianyan shook his head. This so-called antidote could only temporarily slow down the poison. As time passed, their condition would worsen and they would die in the end. Who exactly are you? The guards at the side ruthlessly lashed out with their whips. However, the ice arrows had already pierced through their bodies and sealed their mouths for eternity. This scene was witnessed by all the cultivators. They all stopped what they were doing and looked at him in a daze. They didn't know what to say. Now that you are all free, search these guards for the keys to unlock your own shackles. Prepare to kill our way out with me. Tianyan shouted loudly. His voice echoed throughout the entire mine. Soon after, they reacted. As if they had gone mad, they quickly pounced on the guards and began to search for the keys. However, many of the cultivators didn't plan to escape. Their eyes were still filled with despair. What are you waiting for? Aren't you going to escape? Escape? Do you think we can survive if we escape? We don't even have antidote pills. If we go out, we will still die. They were all stunned. Even if they unlocked their shackles, the poison in their bodies hadn't been cured. What was the point of that? The antidote pills weren't on the guards. They only had temporary antidote pills. The effects were very limited. They couldn't persist forever. This time, many people were stunned, and the hope in their eyes suddenly dimmed. Don't worry. I will refine a batch of antidote pills to completely remove the poison in your bodies. Tianyan said in a low voice. What you need now is to unlock your shackles. Prepare to kill our way out. His voice was like the most beautiful sound in the world. When it reached their ears, they were all dumbfounded. He can refine antidote pills. Really? We're saved. We're saved. They shouted and hurriedly began to untie the shackles on their body again. At the same time, Tianyan is already analyzing the poison pill, and he easily analyzed the poison pill. This poison pill was much weaker than the poison pill that the Spirit Tribe Patriarch took. It was like a weakened version. Naturally, it would be easier to detoxify it. It was basically equivalent to a second-grade pill. One could imagine how easy it was. Fortunately, it's a second-grade pill. Otherwise, it would be more troublesome. Tianyan found a large pile of spiritual medicine from his storage ring. These were all looted when he passed by the alchemy room. No matter what grade they were, he would plunder them. He knew that some spiritual medicine could be used to refine antidote pills. He just didn't expect there to be so many cultivators here. When he was refining the pills, many cultivators around him didn't just stand there. Instead, they picked up their hoes and started digging. They seemed to be working harder and harder than before. What he dug out were the most precious and the best materials. However, they didn't take the materials they dug out. Many cultivators moved the ores they dug out and moved them to Tianyan's side. Obviously, they were going to pay him. Tianyan was stunned. He didn't think about this and didn't ask for any payment. He didn't expect that they would take the initiative to give him the ores they dug out. Some of them wanted to dig out more ores while they were refining the pills. Chapter 323. Tianyan tried to dissuade them. You can keep these ores, I don't need them. Each of you can take some so that it will be more convenient for you to move around after we get out of here. However, they were still indifferent and continued to dig ores for him. We don't have anything on us, so we can only give you these as a reward. You can save us, so this is already a very low reward. Yes, we don't have anything to repay you with. We can only offer the ores we dug out here to you. I am willing to follow you, Benefactor. Me too. I am willing to follow Benefactor. If Benefactor has enmity with the Netherworld Empire, I will follow Benefactor for the rest of my life to deal with the Netherworld Empire. Yes, kill all the dogs of the Netherworld Empire. Kill all the bastards of the Netherworld Empire. All of them were very angry because they had suffered so much. If it wasn't because they still had a little bit of hope, or if their hearts were not filled with revenge, they would have already died a long time ago. Living in this place was worse than death, and they had to bear the pain of the poison pill every day. Now that Tianyan came to save them, they saw hope again, and were very grateful. But no matter how grateful he was other than his life, there was nothing else he could give. The Netherworld Empire must be eradicated, but we must act according to our capabilities. Unnecessary sacrifice is meaningless, Etionyan said in a deep voice. Our main goal now is to escape and survive. Once we have enough strength, we will take revenge on the Netherworld Empire. As he spoke, he quickly refined the elixirs. Very soon, the first batch of elixirs was refined, and there were more than 100 of them. Then he distributed the pills to a few people so that it would be easier for them to distribute. They didn't rush to take the pills, but lined up one by one. After taking the pills, their complexion immediately improved, and they didn't feel the pain anymore. I feel that the poison in my body is gone. It's really gone. It's really gone. I thought that I would be troubled by this poison for the rest of my life. Tears streamed down their cheeks and they were very excited. Previously, when Etionyan said that he could concoct an antidote, they didn't believe him. But now, it seemed like it was true. This caused many people to be filled with hope. They wanted to be the first to consume these medicinal pills. Among them, there was no lack of people who wanted to snatch medicinal pills to consume. Among the thousands of cultivators, there was no lack of people who were greedy for life and afraid of death. There was also no lack of people who were usually more overbearing. They definitely did not want to die. No matter what their character was, it was enough that they were filled with anger towards the Netherworld Empire. One by one, don't fight, Etionyan said in a low voice, indicating that they should settle down. They immediately stopped and lowered their heads awkwardly. They didn't fight anymore. I know all of you are anxious and want to get rid of the poison as soon as possible so that you can escape. You don't have to worry, everyone has a share, and it will be done very soon. Just as he finished speaking, Etionyan finished refining another batch of elixirs and ordered someone to distribute them. It didn't take long for the elixirs to be refined. During the refining process, some guards rushed down from above, but before they could reach Etionyan, they were shot dead by Etionyan with an arrow. This process didn't interrupt Etionyan's refining process at all. He could refine pills with one hand and shoot arrows with the other. When they saw this, they were amazed. Etionyan was definitely the strongest cultivator they had ever seen. Soon, thousands of elixirs were refined, and all the cultivators consumed them, clearing the toxins in their bodies. This time, they were very excited and their eyes were no longer filled with despair. One by one, they brought the ores to Etionyan and motioned for him to accept them. Etionyan saw that they were doing this, but he didn't refuse them and accepted them. Thank you for saving our lives, Benefactor. Thank you, Benefactor. As long as Benefactor gives the order, I will go through water and tread on fire. I am willing to do anything for Benefactor. I am willing to follow Benefactor for the rest of my life, no matter where you go. One by one, they knelt down and kowtowed to him 3 times to express their gratitude. Get up quickly, there's no need to do this. Now everyone get ready. Later, we will kill our way out. I have killed most of the guards outside, but there's still a small group left. So it's still a little dangerous to go out. However, you guys just need to follow me and don't get separated. Etionyan took the lead and charged out. The others followed and once again killed their way out. There were undoubtedly many corpses of guards outside. They were all killed by him. When they killed their way out, there were indeed many guards rushing over. The Netherworld prison was very big, and some guards didn't stay here. Instead, they stayed in another area. When they heard that there was a problem here, they rushed over. However, there weren't many of them left. He had killed most of them, and the remaining ones weren't difficult. Soon, under his lead, they successfully charged out of the Netherworld prison. When the thousands of cultivators escaped, they saw the scene outside and exclaimed in surprise. They hadn't seen the situation outside for a long time, and it made them burst into tears. Hurry up and leave this place before the reinforcements arrive. Etionyan motioned for them to leave this place as soon as possible. Where's our Benefactor? They looked at Etionyan and asked. Many of them wanted to follow Etionyan. I still need to destroy the Netherworld prison. You guys go first. Etionyan motioned for them to leave. But, if you want to repay me, Leave this place as soon as possible. That's the best way to repay me. You don't need to follow me. You just need to become stronger. It's enough for you to know that your enemy is the Netherworld Empire, Tianyan said in a deep voice. In this life, the Netherworld Empire is my enemy. As long as there's an opportunity, I will kill them all. Yes, even if we can't kill them, we can still cause some damage. Then let's listen to our benefactor and leave this place first. They obeyed Tianyan's order and didn't stay here any longer. They quickly fled in all directions and soon disappeared. Tianyan knew that he wasn't a good person, but he didn't like the Netherworld Empire, so he released all the cultivators that he had captured. These cultivators would definitely have a great impact on the Netherworld Empire in the future. Successfully completed, saving a life is better than building a 7-storied pagoda, level 2 achievement. The title of Savior has been changed to Sword to Help. The effect has been increased by 1,000 points. Chapter 324. His character points exploded. Compared to before, it had increased by quite a bit. This was really shocking. Tianyan didn't think that this title would be upgraded, but after thinking about it carefully, he decided to give this title to the people he saved before. Now that he saved a lot of people at once, it was only natural that his prestige value would be upgraded. If it continued to be upgraded, his prestige value would definitely increase. The importance of prestige value is too big, it affects too many things such as lottery, alchemy and so on. This is a very important value, so it is definitely better to have more prestige value. Sure enough, doing more good things is good for oneself. Tianyan smiled. He was quite satisfied. When he was about to enter the Netherworld prison and destroy it, an oppressive force came from afar, as if the sky was about to collapse, making him feel a sense of crisis. Is General Long here? Not only was Tianyan not afraid, but he also laughed. After fooling around for so long, General Long finally came to rescue him. But this is understandable. The location of the Netherworld prison is a bit remote, plus General Long must be busy with other things. Even if he received the distress signal, he would not be able to come in time. Sure enough, a moment later, a huge red dragon flew towards him from afar. Its huge body was even bigger than his black dragon, and its cultivation was correspondingly higher. It was at level 8 of the core transformation stage. On the back of this red dragon stood a man wearing red armor, holding a blood-red spear in his hand, looking at Tianyan coldly. Although the distance is very far, this gaze is like a sharp thorn, piercing fiercely into Tianyan's eyes. Tianyan didn't even blink his eyes, he just smiled slightly. What a powerful gaze! As expected of a strong cultivation, just a gaze is enough to make people surrender. Detailed data immediately appeared in front of Tianyan's eyes. Red Dragon, cultivation level 8 of core transformation stage, has a powerful heaven-burning fire. Even a peak core transformation stage cultivator would not dare to take it lightly. Potential, grade 5. Comprehensive combat power, 4. 1 million, normal state, General Long. Void Spirit stage level 1, wearing red dragon armor, low-grade heaven rank, holding red dragon divine spear, low-grade heaven rank, combat power 14 million, normal state. The martial arts he knew included dragon sky art, tyrannical soul spear art, etc. Weakness, no weakness. Drops red dragon armor, red dragon divine spear, dragon sky art, dragon god bloodline. 14 million combat power, and this is the normal state. After the appraisal eyes leveled up, there was an additional status. In fact, this state was not essential. In his normal state, he did not unleash anything, but he already had such terrifying combat power. The superposition of combat power came from martial arts, weapon effects, or elixirs. Therefore, there were too many uncertain factors. This is just like the previous Divine Rune Mansion's old ancestor. At first, his battle power was around 4 to 5 million, but when he erupted, his battle power reached 10 to 20 million. The increase in combat power wasn't unique to Crazy Mode, it was just that Crazy Mode was more heaven-defying. 14 million combat power, heaven-level weapon, heaven-level armor, no wonder. When Tianyan saw General Long, he knew that it would be difficult for him to deal with him. He believed that General Long would have more than 30 million combat power when he goes all out. How can he fight against him? The existence of Void Spirit stage level is so terrifying. Coupled with heaven-level weapon, these are even more heaven-defying. Immediately, he raised the Ice Divine Bow and aimed at General Long. 5,000 crazy points were instantly consumed, then turned into a huge ice arrow, and the surrounding ice attribute was sucked away. At the same time, he activated Crazy Mode and stacked the effect of 8 times. 10 million, 13 million, 16 million, 21 million, 25 million, 29 million, 31 million, 34 million. Finally, when he condensed 34 million combat power, his combat power didn't increase anymore. With the Ice Fury, his power suddenly increased a lot. All this is thanks to the Damage Divine Rune, otherwise it would be impossible to reach such an amazing value. His cultivation is only at 4th level core transformation stage, so his basic combat power is relatively limited, but under the stacking, his combat power suddenly exploded. This is equivalent to stacking 12 times the damage value. Dragon God Bloodline, activate. The blood-colored dragon scales all over his body exploded, and suddenly his power increased by another level, piling up in the 12 times damage value. Boom. 35 million. 36 million. 37 million. The value directly exploded. 37 million combat power is definitely the strongest power he has ever had. When he condensed this power, a large area around him has been frozen. General Long in the distance felt that something is wrong, and when he saw the situation here, his face sank. This terrifying ice arrow made him feel a sense of crisis. Ice Fury. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed with a cold light, and then a blue light quickly penetrated through. Everything in its path was frozen, and the temperature here suddenly dropped by dozens of degrees. The speed is even more amazing. In the blink of an eye, it is not far from General Long Tianjue. General Long quickly unleashed his power. Dragon energy soared into the sky, and a blood-red dragon shadow appeared behind him, wrapping around his body. His combat power instantly exploded, directly rushing to 35 million. It can be said that this move can be described as shocking, and the power of the Void Spirit stage completely burst out. The Void Spirit behind him even gradually condensed, forming a solid form, greatly strengthening his power. This is the power of the Void Spirit stage, which can burst out from the body of the Void Spirit stage. Everyone awakens a different power, but General Long awakened the power of a red dragon, and dense dragon scales covered his body. The red dragon under him fused with him, as if they have become one, and his combat power increased again. Combat power 38 million. Full power state. Tyrant Spirit. Immediately after, General Long thrust forward. 2 gigantic dragon souls whizzed out, and even the phantom behind him roared and bit the frost's wrath that was piercing towards him. Boom. When the two collided, a huge explosion was set off, and a burst of cold air swept in all directions. Except for General Long obviously, General Long's attack is more powerful. With the Appraisal Eye, the final move has more than 40 million combat power, crushing everything. This is not out of Yi Tianyun's expectation. Void Spirit stage powerhouses are originally heaven-defying, and if they are matched with all kinds of powerful weapons or martial arts, they will be a real powerhouse. General Long can sit in this position. He is not a pig. Chapter 325. General Long's spear was able to destroy Yi Tianyun's Wrath of Ice. The terrifying power of this spear was enough to make everyone tremble. Yi Tianyun didn't think that it was a big deal. If Void Spirit stage didn't have this kind of power, then they wouldn't be called Void Spirit stage. Moreover, General Long was wearing a lot of heaven rank equipment. If he was killed by Yi Tianyun's arrow, then it would be too weak. Although General Long was able to destroy Yi Tianyun's attack, he was still shocked. Yi Tianyun's power was far beyond his imagination, especially when he saw how young Yi Tianyun was. Which force do you belong to? How dare you break into my netherworld prison? Before General Long flew over, he had already shouted at Zhang Xian. He wanted to know which faction this young man belonged to. Of course, I am from the Netherworld Empire. Yi Tianyun laughed. He raised his ice divine bow and shot 3 arrows towards General Long. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. How dare you trick me? General Long was infuriated. He waved his spear and the 3 frost arrows were easily destroyed. Without the frost's fury, the power of the spear was greatly reduced. Naturally, it was easier to block the arrows. Yi Tianyan smiled. He didn't run out of the prison. Instead, he ran into the Netherworld prison. General Long was stunned. I didn't expect you to run into the Netherworld prison. Wait until I catch you. I will make you wish you were dead. General Long's eyes were filled with killing intent. Not waiting for Yi Tianyan to run for too long, followed by a bang sound. The walls on both sides of the entrance instantly collapsed, blocking the entrance. General Long was stunned by Yi Tianyan's action. He didn't expect Yi Tianyan to do this, blocking the door. You think that you can hide inside by blocking the entrance? You are too naive. General Long fiercely brandished the long spear in his hand, and a blood dragon phantom whizzed forward. Soon, the rubble was blasted away, and an opening was forcibly blasted open. When he rushed in, he found that the walls inside had been smashed. All the passageways along the way had been smashed. Not a single place was intact. Could it be that this kid doesn't want to go out for the rest of his life? General Long was enraged in his heart, but he was stunned for a moment before he exclaimed, "Wait, wasn't there a reinforcement rune here? How could it be broken so easily?" He was dumbfounded. He had never thought that something like this would happen. Even he couldn't easily break through this wall, but the young man from before had done it. Could it be that he's broken through the strengthening runes here? General Long's face darkened. Soon after, sounds of explosions came from inside, causing him to be extremely furious. Bastard, he wants to destroy the Netherworld prison. He angrily rushed inside, but if he wanted to rush in, he had to push away the rubble. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to pass. Along the way, his speed was greatly reduced, and he couldn't catch up smoothly. Inside, Yi Tianyan continued to destroy everything along the way. He didn't stop to kill his way in. After quickly breaking through the runes, he used the ice divine bow to shoot a few arrows at the wall, causing it to collapse. Then he continued to rush in, destroying the surrounding walls along the way. When he passed by the mine, he only glanced at it and didn't bother with it anymore. Although it was a pity, now wasn't the time to mine, so he could only continue to flatten the place. From the beginning to the end, he bombarded indiscriminately. Most of the area had collapsed, and only the last part was left. Just a little bit more, and I can destroy the Netherworld prison. Yi Tianyan felt exhausted after destroying everything along the way. Fortunately, he had a lot of recovery elixirs. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to continue. Shooting arrows crazily consumed a lot of energy. Bastard, die for me. General Long's angry roar came from behind him. A ray of light pierced through, turning the rocks here into powder. Then General Long chased after him. Even with so many rubble blocking him, he still managed to catch up. Just as he caught up, he saw Yi Tianyan, picked up the spear in his hand, and fiercely stabbed at Yi Tianyan. A cold light flashed, and 2 dragon shadows entangled him. His battle power was nearly 40 million. Yi Tianyan's expression didn't change. He equipped the phoenix wings and quickly dodged to the side. After dodging the 2 attacks, the attack followed the previous direction and hit the wall. With a loud sound, a large area of the wall collapsed. It was much stronger than when he used the ice divine bow. Thank you for your help. Yi Tianyan smiled and quickly rushed inside. This made General Long fly into a rage. He once again chased after him, suddenly picked up the spear in his hand, and once again stabbed at Yi Tianyan. This time, a terrifying power instantly locked onto him. It made Yi Tianyan feel like he couldn't escape. No matter how he dodged, he couldn't escape. Let's see how you can escape this time. A light flashed in General Long's eyes. When he was about to burst out, a huge rock smashed down from the sky and hit him. With a loud bang, the feeling of being locked on immediately disappeared. This made Yi Tianyan smile. It seems that your luck is not very good. A rock just happened to hit you. He smiled and continued to escape. He was about to use the shadow cloak to resist the attack, but it seemed that it wasn't necessary now. General Long's attack was interrupted by the rock. There's still a small part left. I can leave after destroying it. The entire netherworld prison was very big. He couldn't destroy it all, but he could destroy the cages here. As long as he destroyed all the cages, regardless of whether the mission was completed or not, he would quickly leave this place. Otherwise, General Long would really catch up to him. Wrath of Frost. When he rushed to the Forbidden Spirit area, he unlocked the Divine Rune. When the cooldown time was just over, he immediately released his strongest attack and blasted it on the Forbidden Spirit area. Boom! With a loud noise, the Netherworld prison was completely turned into ruins. If he wanted to repair it, he would need to find a Divine Rune Grandmaster, and it would take a long time to rebuild it. Successfully completed, destroy the Netherworld prison. Save all the prisoners quest. Reward: 50 million EXP 100, 000 CPS, 100, 000 SBS, 200 Prestige, 100 Commander Points. Chapter 326. Looks like I just have to destroy these 3 prisons. I don't have to destroy all of them. If I really have to destroy all of them to complete the mission, it'll be really troublesome. Etianyan was delighted. This was the result he had hoped for. If he had destroyed all of them, it wouldn't have mattered if General Long wasn't around. Now that he was chasing after General Long, he couldn't destroy this place with peace of mind. Therefore, when he saw General Long, he chose to only destroy these 3 cages. He couldn't destroy the rest for the time being. Fortunately, the mission only required him to destroy these 3 cages. Otherwise, the rewards would have been wasted. Damn it! How dare you destroy the Forbidden Spirit Zone? General Long let out a furious roar. His entire body flickered with red light as he charged over. The phantom image behind him made him look like a berserk red dragon. As he charged over, the ground began to tremble. It was quite terrifying. Etianyan smiled and said, "That's right. So what if I destroyed the Forbidden Spirit Zone? I destroyed your mind too, idiot." Soon after, a gigantic sword appeared in his hand. He suddenly waved the gigantic sword in his hand and slashed heavily at General Long Titan's wrath. Boom! A gigantic sword descended from the sky and ruthlessly slashed down on General Long's body, wanting to completely pierce through him. "Get out of my way." General Long didn't care about this at all. He roared and waved the spear in his hand to attack. A sense of danger that locked onto Etianyan surged again. Without a doubt, General Long was using his previous ultimate skill again. It was just that the falling boulder had interrupted his move. Then a red dragon chi shot out from the spear and turned into a red light. In the blink of an eye, it was already in front of Etianyan. The speed of this attack was much faster than his own. General Long wanted to fight him head-on to see who would be defeated first. "Try to fight me? You're still too young." A black cloak appeared on Etianyan's body. It fluttered behind him and blocked in front of him. At the same time, his attack speed didn't decrease. He continued to slash forward. Boom! The giant sword ruthlessly pierced downwards. At this moment, the red had already pierced through and hit his body. Etianyan was sent flying, and General Long was also sent flying by the fierce attack. Even though his combat power was not as great as General Long's, his strength was still very shocking, and he could still injure General Long. Humph! General Long was sent flying, but he quickly twisted his body in midair and pressed down fiercely, immediately dispersing the momentum of his backward flight. Then he flew towards Etianyan and laughed coldly. "I don't believe you can still move after being hit by my dragon spike." When he broke through the dust and flew inside, he realized that there wasn't even a shadow in front of him. Not to mention Etianyan, there wasn't even a strand of hair. What's going on? Where is he? General Long was shocked. He could still sense Etianyan's aura a moment ago. How did he disappear in the blink of an eye? He quickly looked around, but no matter how hard he looked, he couldn't find any trace of Etianyan. This made him extremely shocked. A living person had escaped right under his nose, and he hadn't sensed anything at all. What's going on? How did he escape? General Long was shocked. He couldn't understand how a person could just disappear right under his nose. He couldn't understand it no matter how hard he thought about it. He didn't know how Etianyan escaped, but Etianyan knew how he escaped. At this moment, Etianyan was already flying in the direction of the spirit tribe. He had used teleportation to escape very smoothly, without any difficulty. After teleporting half a mile away, he immediately chose to fly away. No matter how hard General Long searched, he wouldn't be able to find him. Unless he teleported in an open area, General Long would be able to easily find him. At first glance, General Long would be able to see where Etianyan was. At that time, teleportation could only be regarded as speeding up his escape. On Etianyan's way back, the news that the Netherworld prison had been destroyed immediately spread to the entire Netherworld continent, and even the other continents. As one of the symbols of the Netherworld Empire, it was destroyed just like that. All the forces were shocked. Who would do such a thing? Soon, the news reached the ears of the Imperial Master and the Netherworld Emperor. The Netherworld Emperor was extremely angry, so he immediately summoned everyone. What the hell is going on? Our Netherworld Empire's Netherworld prison has been destroyed just like that. The Netherworld Emperor's expression was cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. All the ministers in the audience were trembling in fear, and they didn't dare to look at the Netherworld Emperor. Immediately, the Netherworld Emperor looked at General Long and said in a deep voice, "General Long, I heard that you fought with the saboteur for a few times, and in the end, the saboteur ran away? Yes, his strength is not weak. His cultivation is roughly at the peak of core transformation, maybe even higher. However, compared to me, he is still a level weaker. The most important thing is that he seems to have some kind of special ability. He was able to hide his aura, so I couldn't find him at all." General Long bowed his head and cupped his fists. "This is indeed my mistake. If I meet him again, I will definitely capture him and bring him back." "It's more than a mistake," the Netherworld Emperor snorted. "This is simply a disgrace to the Netherworld Empire. The Netherworld prison is heavily guarded and impregnable, but it has been destroyed just like that. Moreover, so many spirit races members and cultivators have also escaped. Emperor, please rest assured, we have already sent people to capture them. We will have news soon." A minister immediately came to report. "No need, kill them as soon as you find them," the Netherworld Emperor said in a cold voice. "The most important thing now is the spirit race's matter. The old ancestor of the spirit race has escaped, and if he recovers his cultivation, he will be a very difficult opponent to deal with. Don't think that he is going to die soon, but if he really explodes, it will not be good for anyone." "Hee, Emperor, don't worry, the old ancestor of the spirit race has been poisoned by me. Apart from me, no one can detoxify the poison, so you can rest assured." A strange man walked out from the side. His face was very pale. He was the Netherworld Empire's Imperial Preceptor. "I trust the Imperial Preceptor's poison. By the way, what's going on with the spirit race? Didn't Lei Yin take his people to attack the spirit race? Where is the news?" the Netherworld Emperor asked. There is no news. It is very likely that he is trapped inside or dead," one of the ministers said. "Trash. All of you are trash," the Netherworld Emperor said angrily. "General Long, I ordered you to take your people to occupy the spirit race. Originally, I wanted to take it back unscathed, but now it seems that it is not necessary. This is your chance to make up for your mistake." Chapter 327. When the Netherworld Empire sent General Long, Etianyan was about to return to the Spirit Race Forest, and when he was about to return, the system's notification sounded in his ears. Successfully completed Rescue the Spirit Race Quest 4. Rescue the Spirit Race from the Netherworld Empire. Reward: 50 million EXP 200. 000 Crazy Point 5. 000 SPs. Spirit Race Favorability plus 50. A lot of rewards stacked on top of each other, making him feel very comfortable. He got 50 million EXP at once, and if he continues like this, he will soon break through. Successfully completed Protect the Spirit Race. Resist the attack of General Long's army. Reward: 60 million EXP 250. 000 crazy point 10. 000 SPs, spirit race favorability plus 100. As expected, the reward for the 5th quest is also extremely rich. If he didn't come here, he wouldn't have accepted this quest, but correspondingly, the difficulty is very high. This time he is facing the terrifying General Long, a void spirit expert. The only existence that can suppress him is the spirit race old ancestor. What he needs to do now is to quickly detoxify the spirit race old ancestor, otherwise, it will be difficult for Yi Tianyan to deal with him. General Long was not an idiot like the others. He would definitely be difficult to deal with, and he was much more vigilant than the ministers. It seems that they just arrived. Yi Tianyan knew that their progress was much slower than his flying speed, and he knew that they were much slower than him in the sky. Fortunately, at least he can return here. It doesn't matter if it is slow, he is afraid of some problems on the way back. Soon he arrived at the spirit race forest, and after landing he walked into the forest without hesitation. He doesn't know how to enter the forest, but he knows that as long as he goes in, the other party will know that someone came in, and after some investigation, they will know that he is back. Sure enough, he just walked for a while, and immediately a familiar figure appeared in front of him. Tianyan. Yi Qingxian appeared in front of him, and her pretty face was full of surprise. There is nothing more surprising than the return of Yi Tianyan. If they came back, but Yi Tianyan didn't, they would definitely blame themselves. Are you here to welcome me? I told you there would be no problem. Yi Tianyan smiled. How would I know if there's anything wrong with you? Yi Qingxian said in a low voice. When I came back, I immediately gathered some information. Did General Long fight with you? Looks like the news travels fast. Not bad, I fought with General Long. Luckily, I managed to escape. I have to say that General Long is very strong. Yi Tianyan gave a good evaluation, but he didn't really care. When we first heard about it, we were all scared to death. General Long's reputation has spread far and wide, and no one has been able to escape from him. It seems like you are definitely the first, Yi Qingxian said with a smile. Looks like it's my honor. Yi Tianyan smiled, then immediately put away his smile and said in a serious tone. I think the Netherworld Empire will soon take action, and we will soon be attacked. Either we choose to retreat, or we choose to resist. Which one will you choose? Fight to the end. Yi Qingxian also put away her smile and became serious. Unless it's absolutely necessary, we will not do it. Once they go out, they will not be able to reproduce, which is no different from extinction. If they resist here, they will be able to escape. As a member of the spirit race, it was impossible for them to not have any means to protect themselves. If they really used their power, the spirit race would be quite terrifying. Sure enough, then I will accompany you to the end. Yi Tianyan smiled and said. All right, cover my eyes and lead me in. Are you stupid? Do you think you need to cover your eyes? Even if it's your first time here, I will not cover your eyes. Yi Qingxian rolled her eyes and said. Come on, follow me. Yi Tianyan smiled and followed her in. Soon they returned to the forest. When the spirit race saw Yi Tianyan, they all rushed towards him and exclaimed in surprise. Our hero is back. He's really back. He even saved the old ancestor. I heard that he fought with General Long. Everyone said that General Long is very powerful, and now the hero is back. Yes, our hero is still the best. I remember now, the hero was brought back by one. They were all very happy and enthusiastic towards Yi Tianyan, which was a world of difference compared to the treatment before. Before, they had always been xenophobic, but now the situation was naturally different. They knew that Yi Tianyan was not like those traitors who treated them. Of course, I said that Brother Yi is very powerful, different from those guys. Yi Wan'er raised her head proudly as if she had made a great contribution. All right, go and get ready. Yi Qingxian smiled and gestured for them to leave. Then they left reluctantly. Some wanted to say something to Yi Tianyan, but now they could only listen to Yi Qingxian and leave. Take me to see the spirit race ancestor. Prepare to continue detoxifying the poison in his body, said Yi Tianyan. That's what I was thinking. As long as the ancestor is protecting the entire spirit race, We have nothing to fear. Yi Qingshuan's beautiful eyes flashed with a bit of cold light. Even General Long will not be able to do anything to him. A divine rune grandmaster presiding over the formation was quite terrifying. Then they quickly went to the spirit race ancestor. The spirit race ancestor was resting in a small courtyard. When he saw them come in, he smiled and said, "You are back. Come and have a cup of tea." He gestured for Yi Tianyan and the others to come and sit. Yi Qingxian hurriedly said, "Ancestor, we need to detoxify you now." "What's the hurry? Drink first, drink first." The spirit race ancestor acted as if he was not poisoned. They sat down helplessly and took a sip of tea. Yi Tianyan's eyes lit up. Good tea. Although I don't know much about tea, this tea is really good." He didn't know much about tea, but he knew how to judge whether it was good or not. As long as the tea is good, it doesn't matter whether you know it or not. The ancestor smiled warmly and said, "It's like you. Whether you are an outsider or an inner race, as long as you help the spirit race, you are qualified to sit on the Spirit King's throne. Saintess, don't you think so?" Yi Qingxian was stunned. These words came from the ancestor. "You don't need to say more. When I saw you, I knew that your talent had been transferred. Then, when I gave my memory to this young friend, I immediately understood that you had transferred your talent to him." The spirit race ancestor immediately revealed their secret. Chapter 328. Yi Qingxian and Yi Wan'er were shocked by the spirit race ancestor's words. Yi Qingxian didn't expect her talent transfer to be seen through by the ancestor. Yi Wan'er was even more shocked. She had transferred her talent to Yi Tianyan. Yi Tianyan was brought back by her. They didn't even know each other before. How could they transfer their talent? On the contrary, Yi Tianyan didn't find it strange. The spirit race ancestor was a divine rune grandmaster. He was much stronger than others in all aspects. It was normal for him to see through their situation. However, he wasn't worried about any problems. The spirit race ancestor's words were very clear. Talent transfer is actually a taboo for the spirit race. It's not that it's not allowed. There have always been people who transfer their talent to others. Not to mention you, even I have done it. The spirit race ancestor smiled faintly. Talent transfer is not a problem. The problem is that it will have a great impact on yourself. It will have a great impact on your future. Of course, this is your choice. I didn't say anything. Everyone has their own choice. You don't have to worry about me blaming you. Hearing this, Yi Qingxian was relieved. The spirit race ancestor was very reasonable. He didn't say that it was absolutely wrong. But Yi Wan'er was still in shock. She immediately said to her sister, "Sister, why did you transfer your talent to Brother Yi? How long have you known him?" Generally, transferring talent required a lot of determination. After all, it was a gamble with one's future. It was very difficult to recover from it. Without decades, there was no way to ease it. So transferring talent was very dangerous. Unless there was a great favor, it would not be transferred. Yi Qingxian didn't know what to say. There are many things that don't look at the surface. Since the saintess is willing to do this, she must have her own reasons. The spirit race ancestor smiled. After thinking about it these days, our spirit race is currently lacking a spirit king. This little friend has great potential. Plus, he has obtained your heavenly eye, so he is more qualified. Now that he has saved the entire spirit race, I believe many people will support him. But the real problem is not here. I believe you should know. Spirit King trial. Yi Qingxian blurted out. That's right. The most difficult part is still the Spirit King trials. If you can't pass the Spirit King trials, no matter how great the favor is, it will be meaningless. The spirit ancestor looked at Yi Tianyan and said, "Are you willing to be the king of our spirit tribe? But for an outsider like me to become the ruler of the spirit race, is that really appropriate?" Yi Tianyan asked doubtfully. This is indeed a little strange, but our spirit tribe has had a spirit king who wasn't a spirit tribe member before, and he even brought the spirit tribe to its peak. The patriarch of the spirit tribe looked into the distance as if he was recalling something. So this is not difficult, but it is not difficult. It is not easy either. Let's see if you're willing to be our king. Making you the king of the astral race was mostly for the benefit of the astral race. You're so young, yet you're already at the level of a divine inscriptionist. You've also saved the spirit race from a dire situation, and your ability to command is not low either. Your rallying power is very strong. Without a doubt, he is the most suitable candidate. It's undeniable that our spirit race lacks a leader, and I can't do it anymore. Now your prestige is even higher, and you're just short of a fire to be ignited. What fire? Tianyin asked. It's impossible for him not to want to lead the entire spirit race. This is equivalent to a divine inscriptionist sect. And if he joins the Heavenly Jade sect, his strength will be greatly enhanced. Many people have a good impression of him. And if he joins the Heavenly Jade sect, his strength will be greatly enhanced, and becoming a third-grade faction will not be a problem. It's not too late to merge with the Heaven's Top Mansion, and if he joins the spirit race, he will definitely become a third-grade faction. If I'm not mistaken, the Netherworld Empire will definitely send people to attack us, and I will do my best to support you so that you can repel them. As long as you can hold on this time, your prestige will reach the peak, the spirit ancestor said solemnly. When the time comes, I will speak to you, and you will definitely become a spirit king candidate. As for whether you can pass the trial or not, it's really up to you. Ancestor, do you trust me that much? Tianyin asked. Yes, I trust you. You can lead the spirit race to glory. The spirit ancestor sighed and said. Lei Yun is the most suitable candidate, but unfortunately, his temperament is too bad. I wanted to temper him, but in the end he betrayed us. Whether it's talent or prestige, you're far superior to Lei Yun. In a situation where there are very few outstanding disciples in the spirit race, I think there is no other choice but to push you. What if Lei Yun doesn't betray us? Tianyin asked an awkward question. Push Lei Yun. The spirit ancestor was very honest, and he did not beat around the bush. This answer was within Tianyin's expectation. He had already thought so before. It's undeniable that your talent is better than Lei Yun's, but even if the Netherworld Empire were to attack us, we would still be able to defend ourselves. The spirit race's old ancestor said with a faint smile. Times are different, so the choices are different. His meaning was very clear. In a situation where they are united, they will certainly not choose outsiders. Outsiders are certainly not as trustworthy as the insiders, so they will not choose outsiders. But now it was different. Tianyin had helped the spirit race a lot, and if he could resist the Netherworld Empire's attack, then even if the spirit race's ancestor didn't say anything, everyone would want him to become the spirit king. A king was not pushed out by a single person, but by everyone's approval. Only then could he become a king. All right, I will accept this, as long as I can pass the spirit king's trial. Tianyin smiled. He didn't know what the spirit king's trial was, but he knew that it would not be simple. Very good, I look forward to your performance. Cough cough. The spirit race's ancestor coughed violently, and black blood flowed out of his mouth. It was obvious that the poison was acting up again. Ancestor, I will detoxify you now, Tianyin hurriedly said. Take your time, take your time. I feel a lot better now. Even if I can't detoxify the poison, at least my wish has been fulfilled. The spirit race's ancestor shook his head. Tianyin's heart was filled with admiration. The spirit race's ancestor didn't forget to think about the future of the spirit race. Chapter 329. Without further ado, Tianyin immediately prepared to refine the detoxification pill. This time he was going to refine a detoxification pill that could completely remove the poison. It was different from the previous ones, and the difficulty was higher. However, he could still refine it. This was not a problem. The most difficult part about poisonous pills was that they were very complex. Some poisonous pills were not even known by the refiner, so they were randomly added into the pill. The poison pill that the Imperial Preceptor concocted was even more powerful. If it was an ordinary poison, The spirit race old ancestor would not have any problem. Ordinary poison would not have any effect on a void spirit stage expert. However, the 5th grade poison pill was different. Each of the poisonous herbs was not cheap. The effect was even more shocking. Under Yi Tianyan's instructions, Yi Qingxian gathered all the spirit herbs and quickly began to refine. While General Long and the others were not here, she quickly helped the old ancestor detoxify the poison. During this period, Yuana looked at her sister with a complicated expression and asked, "Sister, were you familiar with Brother Yi before?" "Not really. It can be said that it was the first time we met. When you brought him back, it was the second time." Yi Qingxian looked at her sister and smiled. "Do you still remember that I disappeared for a long time, and then suddenly came back and saw through Lei Yun's trick? This means that Brother Yi saved you before?" Yuan exclaimed. "Yes, he used his own life to save me, otherwise I would not have been able to return. At that time, I thought that he would not become strong so quickly, and thought that I might die, so I gave him my talent. It was the same as returning a favor." Yi Qingxian smiled. "But before you didn't know him? Did you pretend not to know him?" Yuan still felt very confused. "How is that possible?" "Sister, let me tell you, his face is completely fake. His real age is only a few years older than you." Yi Qingxian smiled. "What?" Yuan was shocked. He was already very young, and his real age was even younger than now. Even if he started cultivating in his mother's womb, it was impossible to be so heaven-defying. And he has quite a lot of identities. A lot of things before were related to him. For example, the matter of the Star Pavilion and the matter of the Dragon Gathering City were basically caused by him. This, the two sisters discussed on the side, and there was nothing they didn't talk about. Yi Tianyan quickly refined the first batch of antidote pills. "Ancestor, this is the first batch of antidote pills. If you want to completely remove the poison, you have to take it a few times. Otherwise, you won't be able to completely remove it." Yi Tianyan passed the antidote pill to him and let him take it. The spirit race ancestor smiled and threw it into his mouth without thinking. After swallowing it, his complexion immediately became much better. However, his complexion immediately changed, and he spat out a mouthful of black blood to the side, dyeing a large area of the ground black. The ground that was originally full of weeds withered under this mouthful of black blood. "Patriarch." The two of them walked over and said worriedly, "I'm fine. After spitting out this mouthful of black blood, I feel a lot better." The old ancestor of the spirit race was pleasantly surprised. "The effect is very obvious. I feel that if I take a few more, I will be able to get rid of the poison in my body. Looks like this antidote pill is really effective." Yi Qingxian said curiously. "I'm curious. This is a pill concocted by the Nether Empire's state preceptor. How can you easily refine an antidote pill?" "Well, I can feel the ingredients in this poison pill, so I can refine it." Yi Tianyan said half-truthfully. He couldn't say that he could see it with his appraisal eye. "You can feel the ingredients in the poison pill? Is it because you have an inborn nose that can smell the ingredients? This is the ability of the Medicine King. If this is true, you will definitely become a Medicine King in the future." The old ancestor of the spirit race was amazed. The Medicine King was the realm of Alchemy Grandmaster, and could be called an Alchemy Grandmaster. As for the next step, it was the Medicine God. Medicine King? Can Brother Yi become a Medicine King? They were dumbfounded and didn't know what to say. Now that Yi Tianyan was already a Divine Rune Grandmaster, if he became a Medicine King, the others would really want to kill themselves. "Ahem, I don't know about this." Yi Tianyan smiled. How could he smell it? He had to rely on the appraisal eye to find out. No matter what, the old ancestor needs to take care of his body and take a few more antidote pills to completely remove the poison. "Okay, no problem." The old ancestor of the spirit race smiled. He was more and more satisfied with Yi Tianyan. Then they asked the old ancestor to rest and let Yuan take care of him. The two of them walked out of the small courtyard. "Qingxian, I wonder if you can give me more soul-accumulating grass?" Yi Tianyan really needed it now. Facing General Long, if he didn't improve his cultivation, he wouldn't be able to deal with him. You're thinking about this thing? It seems like it's of great help to you. Yi Qingxian smiled. This time it's all yours. You've saved so many people. Even the old ancestor thinks highly of you and supports you to become a spirit king. You can take anything you want, let alone the soul accumulating grass. I only want the soul accumulating grass, the more the better. It would be perfect if you could give me a few hundred. Yi Tianyan smiled. A few hundred? In your dreams. The soul accumulating grass is too rare. We have been accumulating it for many years. If someone has a few hundred, that person will be rich. Yi Qingxian shook her head. Yi Tianyan was just joking. The soul accumulating grass was too rare. It was good to find one occasionally. The soul accumulating grass was bred by gathering the essence of heaven and earth. That was why it had such a great effect on the soul. Then Yi Qingxian took him to get the last 3 soul accumulating grass. This was all the spirit race had. Unless he pulled out the soul accumulating grass from the green pool. There was really no more. Very good. Now let's start refining the soul accumulating grass. After getting the soul accumulating grass, Yi Tianyan was ready to start refining the soul accumulating pill. After taking it, he would definitely break through to the 5th level of the core transformation stage. He was quite satisfied with the speed of breaking through. It was much faster than killing monsters. Hurry up and break through. General Long. When the time comes, I will make sure that you won't be able to return. Yi Tianyan's eyes were cold. His hand was lit up with the immortal fire. At the same time, General Long led a group of dragon soldiers towards the spirit race forest. Nearly 30 earth dragons kept running towards the spirit race forest, shaking the ground and mountains. When it passed by some small villages, they were directly shaken to the point of collapse. When the villagers ran out and saw the earth dragons, they were so angry that they didn't dare to say a word. Heavens, what's going on? Who provoked these people? Chapter 330. Yi Tianyan did not care about the situation outside. All his attention was now focused on the soul accumulating grass. He was thinking about how he should refine it, and whether he should try to refine a 5th refinement soul accumulating pill. The success rate has increased from the original 10% to 30%. Adding 800 points of luck is different. The success rate has increased by 20%. Yi Tianyan could not help but sigh at the power of luck. The impact was really great. If he added the luck halo, it would definitely increase a lot. However, it was impossible to reach a 100% success rate. Relying on luck would never raise it to 100%. A 100% success rate could only be reached when he raised his level. It was impossible to increase luck to 100%. Activate Luck Halo. After activating the Luck Halo, the success rate soared to 50%. One had to know that the Luck Halo could increase the effect of luck by 10 times. With a high luck, it could only reach 50%. That was the reality. If he did not rely on his own strength and only relied on luck, it could only reach 50%. This meant that it would be a 50-50 split. It was already quite high. At least from the originally impossible level, it had reached the level of refinement. Combined with the immortal flame, I can only reach 60% at most. The failure rate is still on the high side. If I fail, I will cry. Yi Tianyan shook his head. If he wasted a stalk of soul accumulating grass, it was equivalent to losing 30 million experience points. How could he not feel the pain? After a little consideration, he finally chose to try the effect of the 5th refinement. Soon, he threw in a stalk of soul accumulating grass and began refining it with the 5th refinement. As the flame continued to temper it, the essence of the soul accumulating grass was refined. Finally, after a period of tempering, it was time for the 5th refinement. Refining pills was like drawing divine runes, layer by layer. First, it had to go through the 4th refinement before it could proceed to the 5th refinement. Let's hope it succeeds this time. Yi Tianyan activated the Luck Halo and the Immortal Flame to its maximum effect. He began refining frantically. Soon, the pills began to condense, forming 3 pearl-like pills. When the pills were condensed, a beam of light shot out from the purple fire divine furnace and shot up into the sky. Who would have thought that when he reached the 5th refinement, the effects would be so shocking, and there would even be a strange scene? However, it was indeed extremely difficult to reach the 5th refinement, so it was normal for there to be some strange scenes. Success. Tianyan controlled the purple fire divine furnace, and spat out 3 pearl-like smooth pills that flew out and landed in his hands. This was the 5th refinement pill. It was as smooth as a pearl, much smoother than before. It wasn't in existence on the same level at all. The difference between the 4th and 5th refinement was huge. It was like the difference between heaven and earth. Would the effect be the same? Ding. Successfully refined the soul accumulating pill. Obtained 1 million experience points, 1,000 proficiency points. There was also a huge difference in experience gained from the 5th refinement and 4th refinement. I wonder how much experience there will be. It won't just give me 5 million, right? If that was really the case, the extra 5 million experience points were really not worth taking such a big risk, unless he reached the level of an alchemy grandmaster. However, the effect of a normal pill that reached the 5th refinement was 30% to 50% stronger than that of a 4th refinement. It was obviously unreasonable to give him only 5 million experience points. Then he stuffed the soul accumulating pill into his mouth. In an instant, a string of data jumped out and exploded. Ding. Consumed the soul accumulating pill. Obtained 30 million experience points. 30 million experience points. Very good. Tianyan was shocked. This was definitely an explosive effect. It was 3 times stronger than the previous 3rd refinement, and twice as stronger than the 4th refinement. This risk was really worth it. In the next moment, he swallowed all the soul accumulating pills. In an instant, he had 30 million experience points in his account. Ding. Congratulations to player Tianyan for successfully breaking through to level 5 core transformation stage. After swallowing all the pills, he smoothly broke through to level 5 core transformation stage. There was no suspense at all. This speed of breaking through was absolutely shocking. Others might not be able to break through to level 5 core transformation stage even if they cultivated for years. However, he had broken through to level 5 core transformation stage, as if he had eaten a few jelly beans. It seems that refining the 5th refinement pill is still worth it. However, the success rate is really too low. Tianyan was very satisfied with this result. However, the risk was a bit too high. If the success rate was 80%, he could still take the risk. Then he continued to refine pills. However, he didn't refine the 5th refinement pill, but the 4th refinement pill. The reason was simple. He didn't want to fail. Although the effect of the 5th refinement pill was amazing, it was better to be content. Since he had succeeded, then once was enough. In the future, when the success rate increased, he would try to refine the 5th refinement pill again. So far, it was better to be safe. The success rate of refining the 4th refinement pill was more than 90%. Therefore, he didn't have to worry about failure at all. Very quickly, the 2 soul accumulating grass were refined into pills. There were 6 pills with a total of 15 million experience points. They could provide him with 90 million experience points. Speaking of which, this was only the effect of successfully refining the 5th refinement pill. The difference was too obvious. Tianyan didn't feel regretful. If he failed once, then he would suffer a great loss. If he failed twice, then he would suffer a great loss. It was better to be safe than sorry. If he failed once before, then he wouldn't try the next 2 times. He would focus on refining the 4th refinement pill. There were some risks that he couldn't take. After refining the 4th refinement pill, he swallowed the 6 soul accumulating pills. In an instant, he gained 90 million experience points. However, he didn't level up. He still needed tens of millions of experience points to level up. He was now at level 5 core transformation stage. He needed at least 160 million experience points to level up. The further he went, the more difficult it became. Killing monsters required him to kill until his hands were numb. Only then would he be able to level up. Unless he was able to kill monsters of a higher level, or a group of powerful monsters, he would be able to kill them. Phew, I still need a little experience points. As long as General Long sends a group of people here, I will be able to level up. Yi Tianyan smiled. He just waited here to see how many people General Long would bring. When he walked out of the alchemy room, Yi Qingxian hurriedly rushed over. She looked at him and said, General Long is coming with a bunch of dragon soldiers. They will be here in about half a day's journey. Half a day's journey? Yi Tianyan smiled faintly. Where is Ancestor? How is his preparation? I feel that he is very confident. It seems that he can suppress General Long. Ancestor is staying in the spiritual tower. He asked me to call you over. Yi Qingxian said. Chapter 331. Soon, they arrived at the spiritual tower. The old ancestor of the spirit tribe was sitting in the middle of the spiritual array with his eyes closed. When they came up, he looked up at them and smiled. He looked much better. It took Yi Tianyan a few days to refine the spirit race's old ancestor's recovery speed was quite fast after the detoxification. Although he was nearing the end of his lifespan, he still had quite a few years left to live. With the help of a powerful force, his recovery was quite fast. You're here. The old ancestor said calmly. He didn't seem to be worried about General Long's arrival. I haven't seen you for a few days. You look much better. It seems that the poison has been completely removed. Yi Tianyan smiled. Yes. Thanks to your detoxification pill, the poison in my body has been completely removed. This feeling is really comfortable. That feeling was worse than death. The spirit race patriarch could also say something like this. He didn't seem to be in pain before. It's really hard for the old ancestor. Yi Tianyan said. Old ancestor, do you have any countermeasures? This time they sent General Long and a lot of dragon soldiers. I think you have a general grasp of the situation. I can't control the general situation. I can only help you a little, the old ancestor said. The poison in my body has been removed, but my cultivation is far from my previous peak. If I face General Long, I can't deal with him. However, I can control the grand formation here and operate the disorienting grand formation at full power. At that time, you will be completely invisible. As long as your cultivation is not high, they won't be able to see you. The cultivation of General Long won't be too high or too low. I can say that he is within level 8 of Spirit Core stage. He won't be able to see you. Amazing. Yi Tianyan's eyes lit up. He didn't expect the spiritual array to be so powerful. If the old ancestor is at his peak, even if a core transformation stage cultivator comes in, we won't be discovered unless we attack them, Yi Qingxian said from the side. Yi Tianyan nodded. He could imagine that scene. There was a reason why the spirit race had been able to survive for so long. The Netherworld Empire wouldn't have dared to invade the Netherworld Empire if not for the fact that there was a traitor among them. This time, they had invaded because they felt that the Spirit Tribe Patriarch didn't have the ability to control the formation. If they had known, they definitely wouldn't have dared to come in so easily. Then let's wait for them to arrive. Yi Tianyan's eyes flashed with a cold light. Half a day passed in the blink of an eye. General Long led a group of his subordinates and charged toward them. They were all dragon soldiers, and there were nearly 30 of them. This was a rather terrifying number. Local dragons were already rare enough, but there were nearly 30 of them gathered here. It can be said that General Long brought the entire Dragon Corps here. In addition to completely suppressing the spirit race, he also wanted to restore the prestige of the Netherworld Empire. The Netherworld prison was breached by an unknown person, and the reputation of the Netherworld Empire plummeted. It could be said that the Netherworld Empire's reputation was at its lowest point. Many forces believed that the Netherworld Empire was on the verge of collapse, and their fear of the Netherworld Empire was greatly reduced. In order to create a sense of absolute power, General Long led the Dragon Corps to win the battle and completely capture the spirit race. The spirit race's strength was astonishing, and it was rumored that it was a 4th-grade force. If the spirit race was completely destroyed, it would serve as a warning to the others. The spirit race's forest is in front of us, stop. General Long gestured for everyone to stop. Then he took out a few divine talismans from his storage ring. He pointed at them and shouted, Let's go. Flatten the spirit tribe and find their ancestral land. Yes, General Long. With a loud roar, they rode on the earth dragons and charged into the forest. Along the way, the mountains shook as they killed their way into the spirit clan's forest. When they charged into the forest, divine runes appeared on their bodies, which made them immune to the formation of the forest. They didn't wander around, nor did they get separated from their companions. General Long was the last to enter the spirit race forest. The divine inscription in his hand was quickly ignited, and he tossed it into the forest. Soon, the fire began to spread in all directions, burning very vigorously. Originally, it was very difficult to ignite the tree, but now it was like dry firewood. The fire spread in all directions, and just like what General Long had said, the forest was flattened. Using the tree as a hindrance, they would burn it completely. As long as this giant tree was burned down, how could this formation be formed? At the same time, inside the pagoda, the spirit race's old ancestors' face darkened. I didn't expect them to find the wood-burning fire, which has an absolute restraining effect on most trees. They easily ignited the tree here. They also found the wood-burning fire? Yi Qingshuan's silver eyes flashed coldly. So they want to burn this place to the ground? Yes, not only that, but they also have the divine runes that are immune to the formation. It's obvious that they came prepared. This time, it's not as simple as capturing us. They want to force us to leave, and they want to establish their power. If they don't obey, they will be completely flattened. The spirit race's old ancestor sneered. They are too naive to think that they can deal with the spirit race so easily. As he spoke, the spirit race's old ancestor quickly made a hand seal, and the whole pagoda blossomed with dazzling light. Soon, layers of black clouds were drawn in, and the area burned by the wood-burning fire was shrouded. In the blink of an eye, a heavy downpour poured down, extinguishing the wood-burning fire. However, the wood-burning fire was not a simple fire. It was difficult to extinguish it with water, and it would take a long time to extinguish. At least it was better than before, and it spread wildly in all directions. Not only that, but the entire spirit race's forest was shrouded in fog. In the blink of an eye, the normal spirit race's forest was shrouded in fog. Many dragon soldiers rushed in unimpeded. Suddenly, with a bang, they slammed into a giant tree in front of them, and even the earth dragon was sent flying. What's going on? Why is there a giant tree in front of us all of a sudden? They were all stunned. It was very sudden. Not only them, but even General Long almost slammed into a tree. Then they continued to go around the giant tree. As they rushed inside, they slammed into the tree again and again. If they reacted in time, they would be fine, but if they didn't, they would slam into the giant tree. At this time in the pagoda, the spirit race's old ancestor who was maintaining the formation said to Yi Tianyin and the others, "You can start now. They have already fallen into the formation. How dare you use a mere suppression technique in front of me?" Yi Tianyin nodded. As expected of a divine rune grandmaster. In terms of control, he was much better than Elder Yan. In his hands, the pagoda could truly be considered a pagoda. Very well, then let the slaughter begin. Chapter 332. With the spirit race old ancestor and a divine rune grandmaster supporting this formation. Except for General Long, the rest were basically useless. In an instant, they were scattered instead of gathered together. If they were gathered together, it would be a little more terrifying, but once they were separated, their strength would be greatly reduced, and they would not have much lethality. What's going on? Is the divine rune useless? Long Bing patted the divine rune on his body, but it was useless. No matter how he flashed, he could not break the confusion formation. If they ran for a while, they would immediately hit a giant tree, so they could only run slowly. However, running slowly was also meaningless. After passing through a layer of fog, they immediately hit a giant tree. The advantage of walking slowly was that they would not hit so hard. They had completely realized that they were trapped in a confusion formation. If they were not trapped in a confusion formation, how could they feel that they were walking in circles? It was impossible for them to hit a tree, so there was only one possibility, and that was that they were trapped. Can't the divine rune given by the imperial teacher restrain this confusion formation? Longbing was horrified and did not know how to escape. They could not fly, and if they could escape from here. But they could not fly, so they could only be trapped here. His cultivation was only at the spirit core stage, and the earth dragon could not fly, so the situation was in a dilemma. How can the divine rune given by your imperial teacher restrain this confusion formation? A ghostly voice sounded in his ear, making Longbing vigilantly look to the side, but he found that there was no one there, only a white fog. Who is there? Come out quickly. Longbing was horrified, and his heart was already panicking. The unknown was always the most terrifying existence, especially in this forest of enemies. Are you looking for me? Another ghostly voice came from behind him, scaring him into looking back, but he found that he did not see anything. Even the earth dragon, who was extremely sensitive to smell, could not detect the other party's trace. This was the influence of the confusion formation. As long as the opponent's cultivation was within a certain range, no matter what, it was impossible to find the other party unless they attacked. Attacking was equivalent to exposing their spiritual power, so they would be found out. Don't sneak around. Come out and fight with me if you have the ability. Longbing roared angrily. He gripped his spear tightly and looked around vigilantly. From time to time, he would stab forward a few times, but he only stabbed the air and did not stab anyone at all. All right, no problem. I'm right behind you. The ghostly voice came again, causing the dragon soldier to quickly turn his head. Following that, a blood-red blade slashed across his back. Longbing was stunned for a moment, and then his head was separated from his body. A figure appeared on the back of the earth dragon. It was Yi Tianyan. When he found the dragon soldier, he was not in a hurry to kill it. He wanted to play with it for a while. It seemed that under the disorienting grand formation, the dragon soldier could not detect him at all. He was completely trapped by the disorienting grand formation. Even if he stood less than a meter away from the dragon soldier would not be able to see him. As Yi Qingxian had said, as long as the other party's cultivation was not high, he would not be discovered even if he walked in front of them. Now it seemed that this was really the case. Under the effect of the spirit tribe's old ancestor, the disorienting grand formation was mostly effective. Previously, when Elder Yin was controlling the disorienting grand formation, he could not be discovered from far away. But now, standing at such a close distance, the dragon soldier could not detect him. Roar! When the earth dragon felt that Yi Tianyan was stepping on it, it quickly shook its body, trying to throw him away. However, Yi Tianyan had already stepped on it heavily. Bang! The earth dragon was trampled on the ground. No matter how it twisted its body, it could not throw Yi Tianyan away. It was as if there was a mountain pressing down on it. Behave yourself. I don't want to hurt you. Yi Tianyan immediately used the pet capture skill. A ray of light enveloped the earth dragon. After a moment, the earth dragon became one of his pets. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyan for successfully capturing the earth dragon. Obtained 100,000 experience points. Proficiency in pet capture increased by 100 points. Soon, the earth dragon became his pet and completely obeyed his orders. Even if he asked the earth dragon to commit suicide, the earth dragon would not hesitate to commit suicide. Fortunately, there was no limit to the pet bar. Otherwise, the pet bar would be full after catching a few pets. Then he would not be able to catch more. Very good, on to the next one. Yi Tianyan put the earth dragon into the pet bar. The earth dragon quickly disappeared in front of him. The pet bar was very convenient. It was quite easy to put the pet away. Pets could not be put in the storage ring. Therefore, most people who own demonic beasts could only keep them with them. Immediately, Yi Tianyan's figure quickly disappeared and continued to sneak attack other dragon soldiers. Yi Qingxian did not slow down either. She was not like Yi Tianyan. When she quietly came to the side of the dragon soldiers, she did not hesitate to sneak attack and kill them in one move. The remaining earth dragons roared and pounced on Yi Qingxian. Yi Qingxian jumped back and disappeared in front of the earth dragon. She quickly hid in the fog. After the earth dragon could not find the enemy, it began to roar. But soon Tianyun landed on its head and used the capture skill to capture the Earth Dragon. Good boy. Tianyun reached out and stroked the Earth Dragon. The Earth Dragon intimately leaned over and rubbed his palm. How did you subdue it? Yi Qingxian held the silver whip in her hand. She was about to say that she wanted to kill the Earth Dragon. She did not expect that Tianyun suddenly appeared and subdued the Earth Dragon. Just touch it. Tianyun smiled and kept stroking the Earth Dragon's head, indicating that it would listen to him. That works? Yi Qingxian was a little surprised. But it was only for a short while. She had seen too many unbelievable things about Tianyun. I did not expect you to be a beast tamer. It seems that you can become a beast tamer. Beast tamer? Tianyun smiled and said, that's not bad. Since that's the case, how about you help me subdue all the Earth Dragons? That's a good idea. Capture all the Earth Dragons that they have painstakingly cultivated, and make them listen to our orders. This is really fun. I wonder what General Long's expression will be when he finds out. Yi Qingxian was looking forward to General Long's expression. General Long was the manager of the Netherworld prison. How could they not hate him? Chapter 333. Damn it, why didn't the divine glyphs that the Imperial Advisor gave us work? Also, they can control the rain to extinguish the wood-burning fire. Who else in the spirit race can do that? General Long's expression was gloomy. He thought that everything would go smoothly, and he would be able to easily kill his way into the spirit race and flatten them. He didn't expect to be trapped as soon as he entered. This made him extremely angry, but he was even more confused. He didn't think that the spirit race patriarch would be the one controlling it. He was poisoned. If he tried to forcibly control the formation, it would be the same as stepping into a coffin, or he wouldn't be able to persist or even control it. General Long knew very well about the Imperial Advisor's poison. Could it be that the Holy Maiden is controlling it? General Long thought about it, and couldn't think of anyone controlling it. Apart from the Holy Maiden, he couldn't think of anyone else. In order to control the Spirit Tower, one needed to have a very high level of divine glyphs, and even more powerful strength. Many people from the spirit race had been rescued, but he didn't think that all of them could handle the task of controlling the formation. I don't believe that this lousy forest can trap me. General Long took out a few more divine glyphs, and threw them to the side. The moment they hit the giant tree, they immediately burst into flames. These divine glyphs contained the wood-burning fire. The Imperial Advisor gave him these to burn the spirit race forest, so that he could destroy the mystification formation. However, many of the giant trees were burning now, but the mystification formation was still there. This made him very distressed. Swish! General Long held the red dragon spear in his hand and swung it. The domineering dragon power was released in all directions. His entire body turned into a red light that pierced forward. One with the spear. Suddenly, a giant tree appeared in front of him. Then he ruthlessly pierced through it, creating a big hole in it. He only paused for a moment, but he still pierced through it at an extremely fast speed. This domineering power was simply unstoppable. He easily pierced through it. He was completely enraged now. He didn't believe that he couldn't break the mystification formation if he charged in. Combined with the heaven-grade weapon, his penetrative power was extremely strong. The giant tree couldn't withstand this violent attack at all. Looks like General Long has been driven mad. He's the only one left now. Tianyun looked at General Long, who was fleeing into the distance, and revealed a sarcastic smile. Not to mention him, any other expert would have been driven mad by this situation. No matter where he went, he couldn't get out of here. How could he not be driven mad? But now only General Long was left. The rest of the dragon soldiers had been wiped out by him. If General Long were to find out, would he vomit blood? Most importantly, these earth dragons were all subdued by him and brought back to the clan. With so many earth dragons following behind, Tianyun couldn't show her that he had put the pet into the pet bar. After all, it was quite shocking for a pet to be put into the pet bar. So far, the number of spaces that could store living creatures was still relatively small. Only extremely rare living creatures could do that. Only those rare living creatures could fit in demonic beasts or humans. But they were too rare. If he were to be asked, Tianyan wouldn't know how to answer. Yes, but it's extremely difficult to deal with him. He's too strong. There's no way to deal with him. We can only waste time here. Yi Qingxian frowned and said, even if we let him destroy here, it's still not a solution. Under his crazy destruction, the disorienting trace formation will be greatly affected. The disorienting trace formation was built with the giant tree as the foundation. If all the spiritual trees here were flattened, of course, there would be no effect. But there was still a lot of spiritual trees here. They were afraid that they might accidentally destroy some key points. If that happened, they might really barge into the spirit tribe's territory. There was no such thing as a perfect formation. Especially under such a violent force, it was really possible to forcefully break this formation. That's true. But now we can lock onto his mount. Yi Tianyan smiled. He was very interested in the red dragon. If he caught it, would General Long go crazy? You want to catch that red dragon? Yi Qingxian was shocked. That red dragon's cultivation was not low. It was at least at the 7th or 8th level of the core transformation stage. If she tried to subdue it, she would probably be killed by it with a single slap. What else? This red dragon has a deep relationship with him. Their cooperation is excellent. Their strength can be greatly increased. It's very important to subdue this red dragon first. Yi Tianyan said in a low voice. But this red dragon's cultivation is not low. Yi Qingxian knew that Yi Tianyan's cultivation was not low. But this divine beast was at the 7th or 8th level of core transformation stage. It could even face a void spirit stage cultivator. Don't worry, watch me. You stay here, I'll subdue it myself. Immediately, Yi Tianyan didn't wait for her answer. He quickly flew towards the red dragon. When he was about to get close to it, he quickly hid himself. Because the red dragon's cultivation was too high, its perception was much stronger than Yi Tianyan's. So it was impossible for Yi Tianyan to walk in front of it. When the red dragon was about to get close to it, Yi Tianyan suddenly activated his crazy damage mode. The dragon god's bloodline and Xian Tian divine art burst out layer by layer. It was like a heavy mountain pressing down on the red dragon. The red dragon didn't have time to react. Yi Tianyan punched it. Bang! The red dragon let out a sad cry and was heavily punched to the ground. Boom! The crimson dragon smashed heavily into the ground, creating a large crater. Waves of air rose up along with it. This scene shocked Yi Qingxian. If someone else punched her, her hand would have been broken. But now it was the red dragon that was injured. It looked quite domineering. Yi Qingxian felt that it could reach the peak of core transformation stage. She even felt that it was comparable to the spirit race's ancestor. Capture. Yi Tianyan stepped on the red dragon's body and immediately used the capture skill. A circle of light enveloped the red dragon, trying to subdue it. Roar. The red dragon struggled fiercely and sent him flying. The capture skill immediately failed. Damn it, I failed. Is it so difficult to capture an intermediate master pet? Yi Tianyan frowned. He had caught dozens of earth dragons. His pet capture skill had been upgraded to the intermediate level long ago. The level of his pet capture skill had improved a lot, and the success rate was also much higher. But now he still failed. Obviously, this red dragon was too strong. In addition, its loyalty was extremely high. It was not so easy to subdue it. Chapter 334. After Yi Tianyan was sent flying, he once again burst out with terrifying power, and rushed toward the red dragon fiercely. After equipping the phoenix wings, Yi Tianyan's speed suddenly increased, turning into a red light rushing toward the red dragon. He didn't use any weapons or techniques. If he had used other techniques or weapons, it would have been much easier to suppress this red dragon. He didn't want a corpse, but a living one. To increase the success rate of capturing it, the best way was to beat this red dragon up. He just needed to injure it a little. There was no need to hit it too hard. After all, once it was subdued, it wouldn't recover. It wouldn't be the same after being captured. Roar! The red dragon roared and spewed extreme flames at Yi Tianyun, trying to burn him into charcoal. Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and activated the absorbing star's great technique, immediately absorbing the flames and turning them into experience points. However, the absorbing star's great technique couldn't completely absorb the attack, and a lot of flames still spewed toward him. He didn't care at all. He activated the Xiantian divine art to the maximum and slammed into the flames. The flames wrapped around him, but they didn't have any effect. They only consumed a bit of his spiritual power and the protective shield on the surface of his body. With such a strong defense, mere flames couldn't affect him at all. Get down! Yi Tianyun ran through the flames and charged toward the red dragon again, punching it. Boom! The red dragon was beaten to the ground again. When he stepped on it, he used the absorbing star's great technique and began to absorb the spiritual power in its body. During this time, he also began to capture it to see if he could succeed this time. Soon, a beam of light enveloped the red dragon, trying to subdue it. The red dragon swayed a few times, trying to break free. However, this time, Yi Tianyun was attached to it, so it couldn't resist at all. It could only watch as the light enveloped it. When Yi Tianyun thought he was about to succeed, an angry roar came from afar. "It's you!" General Long wielded the red dragon spear and charged over. When he heard the red dragon's voice, he felt that something was wrong. As he charged over, he saw Yi Tianyun. Ding! Capture failed. Obtained 100 grasping proficiency. I failed again. Yi Tianyun furrowed his brows. It seemed like the relationship between the red dragon and General Long was too good, resulting in his loyalty being too high. Capturing him was too difficult. Unless Shifeng's capturing skill was extremely high, it would be extremely difficult to capture an undamaged monster. Now, even if they managed to injure the red dragon, it would still be difficult to capture it. If the red dragon's injuries were a little more severe, perhaps the chances of capturing it would be much higher. At this time, General Long had already charged over. He swung his spear fiercely towards Yi Tianyun, completely ignoring the crimson dragon under Yi Tianyun's feet. He continued to charge forward, and wherever the red light passed, a deep trench was carved into the ground. Die! General Long's eyes burned with rage. Previously, Yi Tianyun had escaped, which made him lose face. Now that he saw Yi Tianyun again, how could he not be angry? He couldn't wait to kill Yi Tianyun with his own hands. Go! Yi Tianyun didn't hesitate. With a step, he quickly retreated to the side. General Long still flew over. The tyrannical red dragon spear emitted a blood dragon phantom. In an instant, he reached the realm of being one with the spear. His combat power instantly exploded to the level of more than 30 million. Scram trash! When General Long charged over, because the crimson dragon's body was blocking in front of him, he swung his red dragon spear and sent the crimson dragon flying. The crimson dragon crashed heavily into a giant tree. Several wounds appeared on its huge body, and it looked like it was dripping with blood. The crimson dragon let out a sorrowful cry. It didn't expect that its master wouldn't care about it, and would even send it flying. General Long didn't even look over, and continued to chase after Yi Tianyun. In his eyes, there was only Yi Tianyun. Everything else had nothing to do with him. You don't even care about your pet? Yi Tianyun flew in front, escaping from General Long's pursuit. None of your business. General Long snorted coldly. In an instant, he increased his speed again, closing the distance between them by a large margin. Of course not. On the contrary, I should be thanking you. Yi Tianyun smiled and increased his speed. With a flash, he disappeared into the fog. Boom! General Long's spear pierced through the fog. However, it hit the giant tree and not Yi Tianyun's body. Damn it! Where is he? General Long angrily pulled out his spear. His cold eyes swept to the side, but he couldn't find Yi Tianyun's figure. He was still trapped in the disorienting grand formation. Using the disorienting grand formation, Yi Tianyun could easily escape. Even if he had to face a void spirit stage expert, he wouldn't be afraid. Unless he ran too slowly, it wouldn't be a problem for him to escape. Roar! At this time, a roar came from the crimson dragon, attracting General Long's attention. He found that Yi Tianyan was standing beside his pet. What are you shouting for? Your master treats you like a pet. He doesn't care about your life or death. You might as well follow me. Follow me, and you'll have a good life. After concealing himself, Yi Tianyan returned to the Crimson Dragon's side. He used pet capture proficiency and began to trap the Crimson Dragon. Although the Crimson Dragon couldn't speak, its intelligence wasn't low. When it heard Yi Tianyan's words, it actually gave up resisting. Then with a ding, a melodious sound was heard. Successfully caught pet Crimson Dragon. Gain 500,000 EXP. Capture proficiency 1000 points. After successfully catching the Crimson Dragon, the Crimson Dragon became a lot more obedient and completely obeyed his orders. At this time, General Long has already rushed over, and the domineering long spear pierced towards Yi Tianyan again. Yi Tianyan was already prepared. He immediately used the Ice Divine Bow and spent 5,000 crazy points to use Frost Rage. Go! Yi Tianyan's eyes were cold. He gently loosened the bowstring in his hand, and then a thick ice arrow was shot towards General Long. Get out of my way! General Long fiercely stabbed forward and collided with the thick ice arrow. Bang! The thick ice arrow exploded in the surroundings and froze the entire area. The next moment, General Long broke through the cold air and stabbed towards Yi Tianyan. The effect of Frost Rage on General Long was limited. It only slowed down General Long's speed. It didn't cause any damage. General Long is a bit too overbearing. The heaven-level armor on his body is quite hard. Chapter 335. What's going on? Where's the Red Dragon? General Long roared. Red Dragon, come here. He couldn't sense the Red Dragon's condition. He was the only one left, and he seemed a little lonely. General Long had brought a group of people over, but now he was the only one left. Don't shout like an idiot. Your pet is mine now. Yi Tianyan's voice came from the side. It was so ethereal. Whoosh. A red light pierced through, but it hit the giant tree instead of Yi Tianyan's body. Impossible. How could the Red Dragon be yours? I've tamed it for so many years. It's impossible for it to follow you. General Long's anger grew. He was so angry that he was about to explode. He had spent so much to raise a dragon, but in the end, it betrayed him. How could he not be angry? What a joke. Who told you to treat your pet like that before? You abandoned your pet. It definitely won't follow you. Only when you treat your pet as a friend will it be loyal to you, fool. Yi Tianyan's voice came again. His tone was full of sarcasm. Friend? Don't joke around. You want a beast as a friend? Only an idiot like you would think like that. General Long said angrily, Red Dragon, if you don't come out, don't blame me for being rude. General Long took out a flute. It was a very small flute. It was only the length of a finger. He put it in his mouth and began to play it. Accompanied by a sharp sound that spread through the forest, the Crimson Dragon's painful roar could be heard. It rushed out of the fog at the side and fell to the ground. The divine rune on its body was flickering. It was obviously a restraining type of divine rune. Once the flute was played, the restraining type of divine rune would be activated, causing the Red Dragon to be in extreme pain. It was obvious that they relied on this restraining type of divine rune to subdue this divine beast. What's going on? How could there be a restraining divine rune on its body? Yi Tianyan frowned and immediately shouted, Red Dragon, come back. After the Crimson Dragon got up, it turned around and ran towards Yi Tianyan, disappearing into the mist again. When it came to his side, Yi Tianyan kept the Crimson Dragon in his pet space. He didn't believe that it would work. I didn't expect the Red Dragon to listen to you. Are you a beast tamer? But even a beast tamer shouldn't be able to tame it so quickly. General Long saw that Yi Tianyan had called out to the Red Dragon and returned. After enduring the pain, he did not choose to return. Instead, he returned to Yi Tianyan's side. This shocked him. He had thought that the Red Dragon had only been captured or forcefully suppressed. He didn't expect that it had really been subdued. This was his mount. Without his mount, it was equivalent to losing his weapon. You don't need to know that. Yi Tianyan didn't explain too much to him. Humph, I don't believe it. General Long blew the flute again, and the sound spread throughout the forest. Accompanied by the sound of the flute and a flash of light, the crimson dragon was ejected from the pet space. It lay on the ground in pain and roared endlessly, immediately revealing their location. This stunned Etienne. He didn't expect that even if he kept it in the pet space, it wouldn't have any effect at all. It would still be forcefully dragged out. Unless he snatched the flute or undid the divine rune on the crimson dragon. It was impossible for him to do that. It was impossible for him to do that now. No matter which option he chose, he had to kill General Long first. Good lad, so you're there. Die. General Long held the crimson dragon spear in his hand and aimed at him. The blood dragon phantom appeared again, and 2 streams of dragon power that he had long prepared blasted towards him. Roar! Like a real giant dragon, it roared and attacked, completely ignoring the crimson dragon lying there. Damn it! Etienne wouldn't be as heartless as General Long. He quickly equipped the giant sword and stood in front of the crimson dragon. He aimed at the 2 streams of dragon power and slashed forward. Titan's Wrath. Boom! A huge sword light pierced through the air and smashed into the 2 whizzing dragon powers. The 2 extreme powers exploded in an instant, and a loud sound soared into the sky, setting off an astonishing airwave that swept in all directions. In this dusty area, 2 streams of weakened dragon power suddenly passed through the airwave and swept over, crashing into Etienne's body. Boom! Etienne was sent flying and crashed into a giant tree. The terrifying impact penetrated the entire giant tree, and he finally stopped after smashing through 2 giant trees. Let's see if you don't die this time. You're still standing in front of an animal. Looks like you're really an animal. General Long laughed and quickly flew over. When he reached the crimson dragon, he suddenly kicked the crimson dragon with a terrifying force. Boom! The crimson dragon was sent flying and let out a miserable cry. How dare you betray me? When this is over, I'll teach you a lesson. General Long was really angry. If it wasn't for the fact that the matter wasn't over yet, he really wanted to stab the crimson dragon and give it a good punishment. Tianyan. Yi Qingxian hurried over and saw that Etienne had already stood up, unscathed. His defense was already shockingly strong, and the power of the attack was greatly reduced, so the impact on his body was relatively limited. However, the shocking impact had sent him flying. He wasn't injured, but he was a little embarrassed. I'm fine. Etienne looked at General Long and said in a low voice, In my opinion, you're worse than an animal. The Crimson Dragon has always been loyal to you, but you treat a loyal pet like this. Fine, if that's the case, then I'll personally kill you, a piece of trash that's worse than an animal. Did I hear that right? General Long was stunned for a moment, then he immediately laughed. You want to kill me? You were defeated by me before, and you're still defeated by me now, and you'll still be defeated by me in the future. No, you won't have a chance later. Before he finished speaking, General Long had already rushed over. Without hesitation, he raised the long spear in his hand and stabbed it again, wanting to pierce a hole in Etienne's body. Qingxian, step aside, I'll deal with him. Etienne's eyes were filled with determination, and a few rays of cold light flashed in his eyes. You. Yi Qingxian was anxious, but when she saw that Etienne had made up his mind, she could only quickly leave the place and hide in the fog. Etienne's cultivation was far from General Long's. Even if he activated his berserk mode, it would still be extremely difficult to deal with him. His opponent's equipment was excellent, his level of martial arts was astonishing, and his cultivation was even more explosive. However, he had already saved up a value that he had been longing to save up before. 100,130 sin points. Chapter 336. He had finally accumulated 100,000 sin points. It took him a lot of effort. If he could get sin points by killing ants, he would have already filled it up. Not to mention 100,000, he could even get 1,000,000 sin points. Etienne quickly opened the sin shop. There were still 2 sets of equipment on it. There was no extra equipment. He didn't know how to unlock the rest of the equipment. Evil Dragon Equipment Set. Requires level 30. After equipping, the wearer can transform into a huge evil dragon up to 100 meters long at any time. All strength increased by 10 times, defense increased by 20 times, flying effect and devouring ability. Price, 100,000 sim points. Swordsman Equipment Set. Requires level 30. After equipping, the wearer can learn to control sword formations at any time. All swords within a radius of 10 miles are under the control of the wearer. Up to 10,000 swords can be controlled by the wearer. Flying effect is added. Price, 100,000 sim points. There were 2 top-tier equipment sets, but he didn't know which one to choose. If he had to face a lot of enemies, he would undoubtedly choose the Swordsman Equipment Set. On the other hand, if he had to fight one-on-one, he would definitely choose the Evil Dragon Equipment Set. Exchange for the Evil Dragon Equipment Set. Ding. Deducted 100,000 sim points. Successfully exchanged for the Evil Dragon Equipment Set. Immediately, the Evil Dragon Equipment Set fell into his inventory. It looked pitch black and seemed to have an evil aura surging up, but it was even more domineering. So this is the Evil Dragon Equipment Set. Very good. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. Although it was only level 30 equipment, the effect it showed was probably equivalent to a heaven-grade equipment, right? Of course, this was only the armor he wore. It did not include weapons. This meant that he could still equip weapons, and he could still use more power. Idiot, have you given up on struggling? Then go to hell. General Long saw that Yi Tianyun didn't move. He laughed loudly, raised the red dragon spear in his hand, and stabbed fiercely. A red light pierced through, trying to pierce through him. When the red dragon saw this scene, it quickly struggled to fly over to help Yi Tianyun block the spear. Even Yi Qingxian, who was hiding on the side, couldn't help but shout. She thought that Yi Tianyun would have some kind of move, but she didn't expect him to stand still. Equip the Evil Dragon Set. In the next second, the Evil Dragon Equipment Set appeared on his body. Just like that, a set of shiny pitch-black equipment appeared on his body. There were layers of pitch-black dragon scales on them. These were not fake dragon scales, but the scales of a real evil dragon. From head to toe, he was covered in a thick layer of armor that stuck closely to his body, outlining his sturdy physique. Following that, a pitch-black aura surged out in all directions, corroding the surrounding environment. The reason why it was called an evil dragon was because it was sufficiently evil. Just the evil aura it emitted was enough to corrode everything in its surroundings. If one's cultivation was too low, they would be injured after being enveloped by this evil energy. At this moment, the red dragon spear fiercely pierced towards him. He reached out and grabbed the spear's spearhead. With a clang, Yi Tianyun was forced back. However, the spear didn't pierce into him at all. It was completely blocked outside. However, the momentum was too strong, and he slid backwards at an extremely fast speed. Finally, he crashed into a huge tree. With a bang, he broke the huge tree. However, he was still in his original position, tightly holding onto the spearhead. Moreover, the momentum had already been dissipated. How can this be? General Long was shocked by Yi Tianyun's appearance. He suddenly put on a set of equipment, and even managed to block his attack. Get down here. Yi Tianyun suddenly pulled back his spear and threw him to the ground. Boom. The violent force smashed down, and General Long was smashed to the ground along with his spear, creating a huge crater. A large area of the ground was smashed, and dense cracks spread out like a spider web. When he was smashed down, General Long groaned and spat out a mouthful of blood. The power of this smash was too strong. It was a full 20 times increase in strength. It was extremely overbearing. At this time, under the activation of crazy damage mode, his current battle power has reached as high as 43 million. This doesn't include other explosive power. He simply used his strength to smash without using any other martial arts or any other power. The heaven-defying 20 times superposition of strength, coupled with the crazy 8 times damage mode, has greatly increased his battle power. A battle power of 43 million is already stronger than General Long's strongest attack. Currently, General Long's strongest attack is made by using the Void Spirits, which is the power of the two dragons. His battle power is as high as 41 million. Yi Tianyun's bare hands are stronger than General Long's. This is the importance of equipment. The disparity between equipment can bring about a huge gap. There is no doubt that this set of evil dragon equipment is not inferior to heaven grade equipment, and even a little stronger. The power of heaven grade equipment is not bad, but the effect is certainly not as good as Yi Tianyun's. Die for me. General Long jumped up in rage. He wanted to pick up the red dragon spear again to attack Yi Tianyun, but he couldn't even drag him away. What's wrong? Didn't you eat? Yi Tianyun laughed sarcastically. After his strength superposition, he is much stronger than General Long, so playing tug-of-war with him is courting death. How can this be? How can your strength be so much stronger? Is it because of this armor? General Long felt that it was inconceivable. He felt that something was wrong just now, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. Although he couldn't say it, he could see that this heaven-defying strength is stronger than him. You don't need to know that. Yi Tianyun swung his fist and smashed it. When the fist swung, a gust of wind rolled up around the fist, and even the air vibrated. The power of this fist is too overbearing, so overbearing that even the space was slightly shaken. General Long hurriedly let go of the spear in his hand, and then waved his palm to block. How could he dare to casually receive this punch? Boom! General Long was smashed heavily, and he was sent flying. He hit a huge tree, and after continuously smashing and breaking several branches, he finally stopped. However, General Long quickly bounced up. His body trembled slightly, especially the arm that blocked the fist. Blood was already flowing down from his arm. That domineering punch had injured his arm, and most of his muscles had been broken. This power. General Long's arm trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Originally he was brutally oppressed, but now he can suddenly crush his existence. Chapter 337. One step at a time, one footprint at a time. However, these footprints were formed by erosion. Even General Long's palm that was punched had a brand on it. The evil black gas continued to corrode his palm, giving him unbearable pain, but his cultivation was not low, so it was not much of a problem for him to resist. The most important thing was that this overbearing punch almost crippled his hand. Bastard! How dare you fight against the Netherworld Empire? Die! General Long let out a furious roar, and a burst of blood chi instantly erupted from his body. The blood dragon phantom behind him instantly doubled in size, and its entire body rapidly swelled up. Layers of dragon scales emerged from its body, and even its entire face was covered in a thick layer of dragon scales. General Long was not a member of the dragon race. He simply absorbed a lot of dragon's blood essence to be able to burst out such an amazing form. His whole body was covered with a thick layer of dragon scales, and even his palms were covered with claws, making him look no different from a dragon. His previously injured arm recovered in an instant. The dragon's strong recovery ability was immediately reflected. After completely activating the power of the bloodline in his body, his strength suddenly exploded, and his combat power skyrocketed, reaching an extremely strong peak. Huff, huff, huff. General Long gasped for breath and stared at Yi Tianyun with his bloodshot eyes, and his killing intent burst out from his body. Yi Tianyun raised his eyebrow. He forced General Long to ignite his bloodline power, and his combat power soared crazily, reaching the level of 34 million, which was weaker than Yi Tianyun's. But this is already very amazing. Just by igniting the power of his bloodline, he has already reached this level. His battle power reached more than 40 million thanks to crazy damage mode, otherwise it would be very difficult for him to surpass General Long. Sure enough, there is a huge gap between their cultivation, and if there is no multiplier, it will be impossible for him to compete with General Long. General Long. First level Void Spirit stage, Dragon form igniting blood essence, extreme rage state. You are very good. It has been a long time since I used my full strength to deal with someone. Don't worry. I will crush you to death. General Long gasped for breath, and it seems that releasing such a powerful state also caused a lot of damage to himself. Originally, when he was burning his blood essence, He would suffer a lot of damage to himself while injuring the enemy. It would take a long time for him to recover. Pinch me to death. With that strength of yours that can't even eat? Yi Tianyan smiled indifferently. Courting death. General Long roared and stamped on the ground with all his might. Boom! The ground directly exploded, and a blood dragon phantom instantly bloomed behind him. It was originally a blood dragon phantom, but now it had turned into a solid state. Similarly, a huge dragon pounced over from behind him. His power once again rose in a straight line, layer upon layer, and reached more than 40 million battle power. At this moment, General Long's strength, speed, and strength had all increased by several times, reaching a terrifying value. When the Void Spirit stage is completely released, it is a very terrifying existence. Skycloud. When Yi Qingxian saw this, she felt as if her heart was being squeezed tightly, making her feel as if it was about to stop. General Long's appearance was too domineering, and his power was even more domineering. Yi Qingxian, who was watching from afar, felt her scalp go numb, and her body trembled. If she were to face General Long head-on, her legs would definitely turn into jelly. This power is really too strong, much stronger than before. Yi Tianyan looked at the blood dragon's phantom shadow, which made General Long feel like a real dragon, but it was not a real dragon. A mere worm dares to pretend to be a true dragon. Yi Tianyan's eyes flashed with a dark light, and he sneered. I'll let you see what a real true dragon looks like. In the next moment, a dazzling black light flashed on Yi Tianyan's body, and in an instant, a huge evil dragon's head emerged from the black light. When the whole head emerged, a long dragon body emerged, and in the blink of an eye, 100 meters long dragon body emerged, covered with pitch-black scales, similar to the dragon scales on the evil dragon set. Roar! A dragon's roar reverberated through the sky, and even the entire spirit tribe forest. As soon as he flew out, Yi Tianyan twisted his huge dragon body and swung his tail at General Long. This was the real divine dragon swinging its tail. General Long was shocked by this scene, and he hurriedly swung his fist at General Long. The blood dragon phantom behind him also pounced forward, colliding with General Long's swinging tail. Bam! General Long's tail swung over, and General Long was sent flying. The blood dragon phantom behind him was smashed into pieces. General Long was sent flying, and he only stopped after smashing through a few trees. A moment later, he quickly bounced back up. He was wearing a heaven-grade armor, so his defense was naturally not weak. However, when he saw the huge evil dragon above him, he was immediately dumbfounded. He had never seen such a domineering evil dragon before. It was 100 meters long, and it was much longer than the average dragon. Yi Qingxian was also stunned by this scene. Even she was dumbfounded by the sudden transformation into a huge evil dragon. Could it be that Tianyan is from the dragon tribe? The dragon tribe was divided into two types. The first type was the ordinary giant dragons, which were the result of not evolving. Those who had truly evolved could transform into humans. Normally, it was impossible to tell that they were giant dragons. Only when they revealed their true form would they know that they were from the dragon tribe. The huge evil dragon twisted in the sky, and it was extremely eye-catching. When the spirit tribe members in the spirit tribe village saw this evil dragon, they were all dumbfounded. They had seen all kinds of dragons before, but this was definitely the first time they had seen such a huge and evil dragon. Their hearts were filled with shock as they stared blankly at the evil dragon. No, impossible. How can you be from the dragon tribe? General Long looked at the evil dragon above him in shock. Is it important whether I am from the dragon tribe or not? Yi Tianyan's voice came from the evil dragon's head. He felt that after his transformation, his strength did not change much. However, his attack range had increased significantly. Most importantly, he had gained a devouring power. Before he finished speaking, Yi Tianyan ruthlessly struck out with his palm. The huge dragon palm pressed down, and instantly slammed into General Long's head. General Long wanted to escape, but it was too late. He could only raise his hand to block the dragon palm. At the same time, the blood dragon projection appeared again. Yi Tianyan completely ignored the blood dragon projection. The dragon palm pressed down ruthlessly, and General Long was slammed into the ground. General Long was completely unable to block this domineering dragon palm. The blood dragon projection behind him was smashed into pieces. Humph! General Long was pressed into the ground. His eyes widened as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Even with the armor on his body, he was still severely injured. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.